Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
Good morning. Welcome into 104.5 The Zone. We're happy to have you for the next 3 hours. Lucas is out sick today, so Robert is going to need your support for these next 3 hours because he's stuck alone with me, and you know how much he enjoys that. 615-737-1045 is the number. If you want to jump in, the F&M Bank chat is also open for business, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. We have the news of Tyler Lockett quitting the Titans to discuss to start the show. We have things to give away for Oh No.
We do.
Oh, what do we have?
Depending if you are a Predators fan or not, we have tickets to go see the Preds and the Canucks on October 23rd, 2 days from today.
Nice. Preds having a solid start to the season at this point in time, so don't call us yet, but we will get into the thing in sports that made you say, oh no, at 10:45 today, which you will have the opportunity to win the tickets.
And you're not going to the game, right?
No.
Okay, so it could probably be a Preds win.
They got a good shot.
I would love that. I would love that if whoever wins the tickets gets to go see a fun game, because whenever you are in attendance, it does not matter whether it is football, hockey, pickleball, the team that you want to win will lose.
So you have a circumstance where another player is asked out of the Titans roster. Lorenzo Carter was earlier this year. Now, this is obviously a bit of a different circumstance. And Tyler Lockett, according to Adam Schefter, requested his release from the team last night. I do have some context for that. It's not as bad as it seems, and I know far be it from me to be the one to tell you that it's not as bad as it seems, because there is opportunity there in a season that, yeah, you're probably not making the playoffs, but you have some things that you're trying to learn about your young roster as you look to the future, even though you still have more games to play. We need to start in the obvious place, though, which is Lucas. He texted us, at 7:45 this morning. I had a 7 a.m. workout, so I was at the gym when he texted us, and he said he didn't think he could make it in today, that he woke up throwing up at 4 a.m. and just did it again. I don't know if I have food poisoning or what. So shocking to nobody that Lucas Panzica's horrendous diet has resulted in some form of illness. The fact that it doesn't happen to him more often, given that he treats his body like a garbage disposal, should shock no one. What do we think did it to him this time? Because I saw him obviously break into Ron Slay's Biscoff cookies. He has evidence that he claims, there's a picture of me eating Biscoff cookies, but there is no face in the picture. I have video of him digging around like a raccoon in Slay's cookie stash and then hiding under the console after I caught him on video.
Raccoon.
Raccoon?
It could have been raccoon meat. I would like to also allege that you've heard of Montezuma's revenge. If you go down there, drink the water, you're going to have a leaky bum. Like, I think this was Slay's revenge. I think this was the ghost on high of Slay coming down and wrecking Lucas's stomach. But it could be anything. It could be the leftovers he ate yesterday. It could be... Who knows? He eats a lot of pasta. I've never gotten food poisoning from pasta.
I've never gotten food poisoning from cookies, but here we are.
Have you ever had food poisoning? I bet you would be insufferable.
Never.
Insufferable.
I don't treat my body the way that the two of you do. I would never be at risk of getting food poisoning. Now watch, I'll come down with the worst case. I'm going to Indianapolis this week. I'll have shrimp cocktail at St. Elmo's, and I will be down tremendous, although that's never happened. And St. Elmo's is a wonderful establishment, and if I ever got food poisoning from there, it would probably be on me as opposed to on them.
It would probably be because you were drunk, not because of the shrimp cocktail.
I was for a period of time, for the first 5 years, this is my 9th season covering the Titans, I was 5 for 5 the first 5 years throwing up in the Lucas Oil press box because, I got a lot of college buddies that are in Indy. And typically you go out the night before with some of your friends because you haven't seen them in a while, and that press box gives me vertigo, so I have thrown up in the Indianapolis press box many a time.
I think that St. Elmo's cocktail sauce might be top 5 worst things to have to regurgitate. That would delicious going down, but coming back up, whoa.
I don't know. Burn on the way down, burn on the way up. Twice as bad.
Yeah,
I think.
I couldn't. I would not. I would sustain.
Browning Casey asks on YouTube, where, again, you can interact with the show, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can also call us, as I mentioned. He says, have you ever eaten in the Peyton Manning room? We actually have dined in the Peyton Manning room. It was me, Lucas, and Kirby. The last combine, what combine did Lucas go to, where he decided that he hated everybody that covers the NFL because they don't know anything about college football?
I think it was the Joe Milton rookie year, when everyone was like, oh, Joe Milton, holy crap.
I want to say it was the year before that.
And that's possible.
I think maybe the 2022 combine, either way. So Lucas went to one combine, and he never wants to go again. The only reason he's considering going this year is because Robert wants to go.
I definitely want to go. Covering the combine would be a bucket list item for me.
The combine is my favorite week of the year, honest to God.
If you enjoy the draft, I could see an argument for someone like me enjoying the Senior Bowl slightly more than the combine because actual football is being played. You can talk about technique, but the combine would be exceptional. But you talked about the news coming off the top about Tyler Lockett. Lucas's body rejected whatever food he ate, and Tyler Lockett rejected the argument that he should be on a bad football team and asked for his release.
Yeah, so here's the context around that. All right, if Tyler Lockett, you brought this up a couple of weeks ago whenever Adam Schefter put out about a month ahead of the trade deadline, because the trade deadline is November the 4th. And Adam Schefter put out on ESPN.com a list of tradable assets basically on every team. And the Titans list included Tyler Lockett, to which anybody who has paid attention to the Tennessee Titans looked around and said, who? Under no circumstances. The guy had, at the time of his release yesterday, or the transaction will be made official today at 3 p.m. Central Time, because that is when today's transactions are finalized from the league. So after 3 p.m., Tyler Lockett is free to sign with another team. We'll see where he ends up. New York Giants seems to be the one place that I think makes sense if they're not able to acquire a player to help Jackson Dart, a wide receiver, given that Malik Neighbors is down. Obviously, Tyler Lockett is not a Malik Neighbors replacement, but just depth for the young quarterback to try and support him there. Tyler Lockett being on that tradable assets list was confusing because as of yesterday, Tyler Lockett had 10 yards per game. He had 10 receptions for 70 yards in the 7 games that he appeared in. He had 1 start in Tennessee, and his snap count has decreased almost weekly at this point in time, to the point where I wrote down the snap counts last night. He had 14 snaps against the Patriots. He had 20 the week prior against Vegas. He had 17 in Arizona, including the fumble recovery touchdown in the end zone. So Tyler Lockett asking for his release is because of a couple of things. One, he doesn't want to be here, and that's fine. I don't blame him. This has not gone to plan by any stretch of the imagination, no matter what the plan being patience over panic was. Tyler Lockett does not want to finish his career on a currently 1-6, likely 1-7 football team that may not have, hell, I don't know which team on the schedule they might beat. I suppose they could get one against the Browns on the road, though the Browns look like a better football team than they do of late. So, whatever the Titans end up being in 2025, not good. Tyler Lockett doesn't want to spend the 11th year of his career here after being almost a perpetual contender in Seattle. So that makes sense. The other part of this is if Tyler Lockett was tradable, he would have been traded by now because they have assets on the roster. Robert, when was Tyler Lockett signed?
That's a good question, but it was pretty late in the free agency process, maybe May.
It was before the draft.
Yep.
He was signed before the draft.
Oh, okay.
So Tyler Lockett was Mike Borgonzi's version of, hey, we know the wide receiver room was what before Tyler Lockett and Chimere Dike and Alec Ayaman? It was basically just Calvin Ridley, right? With all due respect to Van Jefferson and Bryce Oliver and Mason Kinsey, right? Your receiver room was basically Calvin Ridley as starting caliber players. So you go out and you sign Tyler Lockett before the draft. And then you spend 3 fourth-round picks on 3 rookie pass catchers, 2 wide receivers and a tight end in Chimere Dike, then Gunnar Helm, then Alec Ayaman. Ayaman's a starter right out the gate. So off the top, you're looking around. Now, Ayaman hasn't been overwhelmingly effective in the last couple of weeks. He seems to have faded. Teams seem to be able to account for him more. Understandably so, there's going to be a wall that he hits because there's only so much he can do right now in the circumstance. Just like it is for Cam Ward, it's difficult. It's difficult for Alec Ayaman too. Chimere Dike being a bit of a revelation on special teams, and then injuries and attrition allowing for Chimere Dike to get more opportunities on offense, to the tune this past Sunday of 4 catches on 4 targets for 70 yards and a touchdown, a 38-yard reception from Cam Ward. That was a very impressive pass. One of several good plays that Cam Ward made on Sunday, outside of the bad. And so you're looking around and saying, well, you should probably decrease Tyler Lockett's snap count anyway, because if Bryce Oliver is on the verge of a return, I frankly would rather see Bryce Oliver if Calvin Ridley's going to miss time. Van Jefferson is still here to kind of hedge your bets as a veteran option, and Chimere Dike deserves more snaps. So this can be beneficial for Lockett. It can ultimately be beneficial for the Titans, not that it translates necessarily into wins, but into finding out more about the young players on your roster. I got no issue with either side. View it as a mutual parting of ways. Yes, Tyler Lockett did quit on the Titans. No, not a single soul, not a Titans fan out there. I can't imagine a Titans fan out there would blame him, because Tyler Lockett has been perpetual good soldier the entire way through. Like, he's got a good attitude. He was brought in here to help stabilize things for a rookie quarterback who was going to have rookie pass catchers around him, and they might not have been ready right out the gate, but they seem more ready than not right now, so bleep it. Let's ride. And everything that you hear about Tyler Lockett from his teammates, the way that he, basically talked to the entire locker room after the Rams lost to try and settle the young guys down about, hey, losses happen in the NFL. It's not a death sentence like it is in college. And this is something that we're going to have to work to pull ourselves out of. Now, ultimately, they haven't, because they continue to lose, save the Arizona result. But on the whole, like, Tyler Lockett did what he was supposed to do here, and it can be time to move on, part ways in season. I don't think anybody should be bent out of shape about Tyler Lockett asking for his release yesterday.
He was signed on April 23rd of this year, released on October 20th. The experience lasted just under 6 months.
Yeah. So that's all well and good, and it came to an end before the season ends, but you understand the logic for it on both sides. So where Tyler Lockett lands, I suppose that'll be interesting enough. We do have headlines to get to, though there will be no headlines with Tyler Lockett until 3 p.m., at least 3 p.m. this afternoon. Are you going to do the headlines?
I will do the headlines, because if you missed it, if you're just joining us, Lucas is out sick, and I think we have an update as to what may have given him the tummy trouble. Bustin' Diamond says in the chat, I saw Lucas at the new Brazilian steakhouse last night. Never saw him flip the block to red. So he ate himself into, are you familiar?
No.
With if you flip the block to red at a Brazilian steakhouse, that means no more meat. No, thank you. I'm full. So Lucas left his block on green. So they continued to bring him cuts of chicken and steak. And my favorite thing at Brazilian steakhouses, the grilled pineapples. They put them on 2 skewers and just char that bad boy up. All that sugar caramelizes. I love a good grilled pineapple. Something my dad did, and I don't know if this is only a Southern thing, he used to smoke a watermelon. Have you ever heard of that?
No. I hadn't, like, I've had pineapple on pizza. I like pineapple on pizza, depending on the quality of the pizza. And I think the first time I had grilled pineapple was at your house when Lucas refused to play can jam with the rest of us.
Yes, and he was sneaking over there to put pineapple rings on the grill.
He was putting one on for each 2 that he ate.
Yes. None of them made it to the table. But hopefully Lucas is recovering. He can come back tomorrow, and then maybe we can go to gorge ourselves once again.
615-737-1045 is how you jump in. NFL headlines are next.
It's time for NFL headlines with me, with Bert. Isn't this nice?
I mean, you know how much I enjoy an empty studio.
I know how much you enjoy talking football with me, and boy, is there a lot to talk about. The final doubleheader of Monday Night Football this season, and we saw the Lions and the Bucs go at it. We saw the Seahawks and the Texans go at it, but I'll start with the Bucs and the Lions, which was definitely one of the football games that has been played this year. Baker Mayfield complaining about the referees. Tez Johnson, who heard MVP chants 2 weeks ago, now hearing boos because how well the play went in Detroit. But we will talk about another wide receiver on the Buccaneers, and that is Mike Evans, as he left the game banged up and worse for wear with a broken collarbone. Todd Bowles reporting that he will not be back until the end of the season. So right now, you could say one of the best streaks in maybe football, sports, regardless. Mike Evans' 1,000-yard receiving streak, which he has done for, I believe, 12 seasons in a row. Let me count this. He's been in the NFL for 12 seasons. 11 years in a row. He's led the NFL in touchdowns once. That streak will come to an end, which is tough because the Buccaneers have a ton of wide receiver issues, not just Mike Evans. I asked this to my buddy last night, and we had fun debating this. Is Mike Evans a first ballot Hall of Famer?
He's got a Super Bowl.
He has a Super Bowl.
He is one of the most consistent playmakers in the sport across a decade plus, as you've noted there. It's a career-long streak of 1,000-yard campaigns. I would probably argue yes. I mean, it depends on when he retires and who else is in that class. Because, like, receiver has become one of these convoluted positions as far as Hall of Fame induction goes, where the game has obviously evolved. Matt Stafford's numbers are outrageous in comparison to some of the quarterbacks who went into the Hall of Fame before. Matt Stafford will obviously go into the Hall of Fame at some point too. But because the logjam of wide receivers who have inflated numbers has become so great, I think it's going to be dependent. But like, even if it is dependent on who else is in his class whenever he's finally eligible 5 years removed from his retirement to go into the Hall of Fame, like, who's going to have a better resume than Mike Evans?
Right. But it is tough. I think it's worth noting that the NFL Hall of Fame is probably the toughest sports Hall of Fame to get into. If you'd like to argue the NBA, I would hear it only because basketball
Hall of Fame is as easy a Hall of Fame to get into because it's college and pro.
Right, exactly. It is both of them. And the Baseball Hall of Fame is marred by people that deserve to be in there, but they're not in there because of scandals. Great wide receivers, Anquan Bolden, Larry Fitzgerald, Steve Smith, all did not get in as first ballot guys. So I think it would be a tough hill to climb. Receiver is obviously one of the positions that is, like, as you mentioned, log jammed to get in. I think the only position it might be harder to get in the Hall of Fame as would be an offensive lineman. But Mike Evans, a tough road to hoe. He is in the final year of his contract with Tampa Bay.
That sucks too.
He will be a free agent. And Tampa Bay, it's not like they haven't done right by their hurt free agents before. If you'll remember this past offseason, re-signing Chris Godwin to, I believe, a 3-year, $60 million deal, a huge amount of money for a player that is hurt that much.
And less than what he could have gotten on the open market, because the reporting was that the Patriots wanted him, but his wife didn't want to move out of Tampa. They've spent their entire career there. So he is one of the few players that actually has taken a hometown discount based on what the market could have given him. Obviously, taxation matters there, where Florida, there's no state income tax. Much like Tennessee, a fake Kenneth Adams in the YouTube chat says, future Titans legend Mike Evans.
Oh, my God.
He
would fit the bill, wouldn't he? He would, of the Andre Johnsons. Wow, that guy was good.
All right, so where are we? On the graveyard of wide receivers, NFL great wide receivers that have come here and seen their career petered out. Because D-Hop's the only one that's beaten the rap, right? Like,
who went somewhere else and did something. It didn't end his career here.
Yeah, and he wasn't great in Kansas City, but he obviously went to a Super Bowl. They lost. They got their asses kicked in the Super Bowl. But Hopkins had a 1,000-yard year here, his first year. So it's hard for me to put Hop in the same category as Titans legends Randy Moss and Andre Johnson and
Julio Jones
and now Tyler Lockett added to the aging veteran wide receiver graveyard that is the Tennessee Titans franchise. So yes, future Titans legend Mike Evans indeed. I hope for Mike Evans that he does not need the money. Please, Mike, don't come here.
That would be very, very cool. I love Mike Evans.
I do too, but I would not want him to end his career here.
Right, and not like they have Mike Evans at home, but like Alec Manor is kind of that strong X-type receiver role that Mike would take snaps away from him. I'm not saying that he's better than Mike Evans or whatever, but they have a guy here who's growing into that role. We're talking about aging veterans, and we could not do that without speaking on Brandon Graham's return to the Philadelphia Eagles. He announced last year after the Super Bowl, "I'm done. I'm retiring. No more barking." If you'll remember the clips of him barking, and his Eagles teammates would have to pull him off the line, like, "Hey, BG, we are calling the play back here. Stop talking so much crap."
Shut up.
He is coming back, and it is not that bad as if you're an Eagles fan, unless you like seeing sacks, because they are tied for a 25th in the NFL. They have 11 team sacks. Their fourth best sacker of the quarterback was Zadarius Smith, who retired abruptly a week and a half after signing with the Eagles. He garnered a sack and a half in his contributions to Philadelphia, but decided, nah, I don't think I want to do this anymore, young cats. I don't think I want to be here. So they bring Brandon Graham out of retirement. How does that make you feel?
Is it going to make a marked difference? 16th season for Brandon Graham. That's a franchise record for Philadelphia, by the way. No player has played more seasons, and obviously this won't be a full season for Brandon Graham. They are still 5-2. They are first place in their division. They are still a bit fraught at this point in time, trying to figure out the dynamics of their offense. Their superpower of an offensive line has faded. The reason the Eagles have been so successful for so long, not just because they have Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown on the outside, not just because they traded for Saquon Barkley, though those things do help. It's because Jalen Hurts has basically gone through a good portion of his career basically untouched. Like when the Titans went up there in 2022, and again, the Titans pass rush for the last couple of years has been bad. But in 2022, like, I've never seen a quarterback have a cleaner pocket for an entire football game than I watched Jalen Hurts have against the Titans. He was just killing them. Just didn't need his mobility that he does possess at all. He can just kill you from the pocket if you can't get near him. Obviously, that's been a different story for Philadelphia. Obviously, Saquon Barkley getting hit as many times at or behind the line of scrimmage so far this year as well has been a talking point. Brandon Graham is not going to be the difference between the Eagles winning another Super Bowl, a back-to-back Super Bowl or not here. I guess just depth. Their defensive line is fine. Like, they let Milton Williams go. They let Josh Sweat go as well this offseason. They got younger. They're trying to get faster. Brandon Graham does not help any of those things, but I suppose he's a warm body that can take up space.
And kind of a Band-Aid until they can get Nolan Smith back. They expect him back after the bye in November. So just somebody to hold steady. Because it is a cast of characters who were an island of misfit toys for others. Azeez Ojulari, who never really broke through for the Giants, so they're looking for a little consistency there. Can you tell me the longest tenured player for one team in NFL history? Any guesses?
Well, no, because like Brady and Breeze played for so long, but obviously across two different franchises there.
You would probably never get this. It's not even an offensive or defensive player.
Oh, wait, is it Slater?
It is not Slater.
Matthew Slater for the Patriots? It's not him?
It is not, because they cut him and he played for the Ravens for 6 games and went back to the Patriots. Yes.
Ravens legend Matthew Slater. I don't remember that at all.
Ravens legend for one season. It is Jason Hanson, the longtime Detroit Lions kicker, kicked in Detroit for 21 years. If you're looking for the longest active tenured player with one team, that would be J.J. Jansen, the long snapper for the Carolina Panthers.
Okay, special teams.
If you want to stick around, if I had kids, I would, and they're like, oh, I want to be a linebacker. Oh, I want to be a. You get your fat ass on the line and you learn how to snap.
You can be a 5th string tight end and a long snapper, bud.
Yeah, come on, dude. Ain't no reason to get hurt. They let you stand up at your position. Come on, there's a rule about it. So the Eagles looking for a little consistency there. We have trade rumors ahead of the trade deadline. This is one of my favorite parts about the in-season additions that can be made. We had a bunch of these come from Diana Rossini. If you need to check her workout at The Athletic, she puts out a lot of good stuff, especially around this time of year. Wide receivers, highly sought after ahead of the deadline, with New York and New England both looking to make additions, as well as the Steelers. A couple of notes here on those types of players. The one that is most sought after, Jalen Waddle. Apparently, the Dolphins are taking a Jeffrey Simmons-esque approach, saying that he is not available, but a player that is, Chris Olave. Chris Olave has been with the Saints his entire career. Had a couple concussion issues, a couple injury issues, but he was also playing with hospital ball Derek Carr. So a number of teams looking for wide receiver help. Is there anyone on the Titans you think that would fit that bill? Is there anyone on the Titans that you think other teams would call about to potentially add to their wide receiver rotation?
Why wouldn't you call about Calvin Ridley? I mean, obviously he's legitimately dealing with a hamstring injury right now, but they've got, 2 weeks to go before the trade deadline? A little more? I can't imagine that somebody would look at Calvin Ridley if they have greater wide receiver depth. Like, I'm trying to think of the skill sets that are in Tampa already and how Calvin Ridley would fit with a team like that. New York, honestly. If the Giants think that they can do something here, if they could push for a wild card berth, I know they had one of the most improbable losses, literally the most improbable loss of the football season so far, as you brought up yesterday, I think on primetime, with the way that Broncos comeback in the fourth quarter changed the dynamic. I don't know if I was New York, if I would start trying to buy at the deadline this year. But I think Calvin Ridley makes perfect sense as somebody's 2. And the cap hit is greater this year for sure, but they've paid a good deal of that down at this point in time. So you wouldn't be acquiring Calvin Ridley for the full freight. What else? What is the most tradable asset on the Titans? So I guess Chigakonkwo would be number 1 if I was a team looking at viable things to pick off the Titans roster. Obviously, Jeffrey Simmons would be one, but Jeff, it sounds like they have no interest in moving him. Now, also, Jeff's dealing with a hamstring injury, so the timing of that is unfortunate if you were even thinking about that. Yeah, why wouldn't Ridley make sense? Also, how do you think Titans fans would freak out if they traded Sweat?
Oh.
I was having this conversation with somebody with the team the other day, and the idea of them asking me what would make the fan base melt down. I was like, I don't know if the fan, we're past the Vrabel thing. I think we're just we're heading towards deep apathy and mock draft season and coaching carousel type stuff for the rest of the year, which is unfortunate. But I said, Jeff, I think would, but I think even there's a split between Titans fans who would look at a first-round pick and say, yeah, give me that for Jeffrey Simmons, but the whole, the tired turn of phrases, it could even be Jeffrey Simmons, right? That's right. the thing that you hear most often when you bring up that name. I don't know if Sweat would cause fans to melt down. I think they would just be annoyed.
I could see that. I think it depends on the haul and what you get back. But respectfully, this is also the fan base that is clamoring for an Xavier Restrepo. They need something good. They need something to sink their teeth into, and I think Sweat would be the antithesis of that. It's yeah, we're going to get to pick these players a year or 2 years from now. Keep waiting. The day before Christmas, can I open one present? It's nope, you get to wrap one for somebody else. That's how I would feel about that if I was a Titans fan.
Scoop Richardson on YouTube says, yeah, why the hell are we shipping out year 2 players? He compliments Jeff. Why the hell did you trade off Jarvis Brownlee? They didn't draft him.
Right.
So whether that's an acceptable reason for a fan base or not, there is plenty of logic to. The thing that we don't know, just for the purposes of a hypothetical Sweat conversation, again, I don't think there's any real momentum there, but I do think it's a curiosity. Remember Dane Brugler coming on here? You might not have, you might still have been doing the morning show. Dane Brugler came on here the week after the draft that year. So what would that have been? The 24 draft.
Yes, I was on the morning show.
And he said a lot of teams flat out had Tavondre Sweat off their board. So if Mike Borgonzi in the Chiefs front office doesn't have Tavondre Sweat on their board for all the reasons that other teams did and the issues that he had. Obviously, those have not manifested here in Tennessee. To Devondre Sweat's credit, I don't think that you should go back and look at it. But if you're somebody who didn't draft him, who didn't do all the extra legwork that Rand Carthon did to ensure that this was a player worth drafting, and you're not the guy who came in here with one of the express goals of supporting Devondre Sweat to make sure that he could achieve his potential, I don't know that they're getting their return on investment back. Like the ROI of a second-round pick, that would be a tough thing to eat. But they literally just did it on Jarvis. So I don't know that I wouldn't put it past them.
Right. Young player, 2.5 years left on his rookie deal. Diana also notes two other players that are not expected to be traded. One, A.J. Brown, who a lot of people were saying, oh, there's trouble in Philly, they're going to ship him off. Diana expects them to not do that. And another team that is underperforming, the Bengals, not expected to trade Trey Hendrickson, who, if you'll remember, had a big, long holdout. They gave him a 1-year appeasement deal, and he will be a free agent after this year. He is not expected to be traded. One other player that's not expected to be traded, Alvin Kamara. Have you seen this? I love this quote from him.
I did see the quote. I haven't seen any further discussion around it other than the quote made me laugh.
I feel like it has been 3 years. We have been talking about like, oh, Alvin Kamara, team could add him, team could go get him. Well, his contract would be very tough to acquire. It would require some gymnastics that I do not have the mind for. But he gave this quote when he was asked about trade speculation for a number of years in a row. I just got to keep my head down. And I don't know. If I was a GM, I guess I would go to the player and be like, hey, I'm trading you just so you know. So if Mickey, General Manager Mickey Loomis, if you're not aware, comes downstairs and says that, then I'm going to go drink a pina colada somewhere. Basically saying like, yeah, if you try to trade me, I will Rob Gronkowski this and I will retire.
Yeah. You can keep my rights. I'll go find a beach somewhere.
Yeah, I have no problem.
All set.
Which is great because if you're a Saints fan, you want to hear stuff like that. Like, okay, this is a player that means a lot to our franchise. He's probably one of the best running backs we've ever had, up there with the likes of Mark Ingram, and he doesn't want to quit on this bad team. We don't know who the hell our quarterback's going to be in the future, Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shuck. It doesn't matter. Alvin Kamara is here for the long run. I feel like Saints fans have to take some kind of solace in that, have to feel a little better about that.
Side note, are Titans fans just going to have to ride this Snead thing out? Like another... Again, we haven't had clarity on whether it's a reoccurrence of the quad issue or if it's a new quad injury. But he was ruled out of the game on Sunday with a quad injury.
So we don't know if it was same leg?
No.
Okay.
We don't have any additional context. Mike McCoy isn't Brian Callahan. He's not giving us any additional information, any additional context. And that's fine. It's his prerogative, and he handles those things the way that most coaches do, as is his right. The Snead thing, man, like to happen again. Not that any team would look at Snead's contract and be like, "Give me that guy."
Which kind of makes the Jarvis stuff just seem like
I'm so mad at them about the Jarvis Brownlee thing. Like there is no defensible reason to move Jarvis Brownlee when McCreary's in a contract year and Snead is unreliable.
And what do they talk about when Baker comes in the game? Baker comes in the game, and they're like, guy that fell out of favor with the Tennessee Titans coaching squad. It's like, okay, why couldn't you ship that guy off for a 7th-round pick? Keep somebody. Keep anybody.
You okay? I feel like you're projecting some of your own fan frustration onto a fan base that can identify with you right now.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Something else to note as far as the trade deadlines go, and Monday, Tuesdays being hot trade days. In this Diana report, noting a lot of teams looking for edge help. That's nothing new. But the Titans have a number of edge players that would be acquirable. Draymond Jones, Arden Key. A lot of guys that would make a lot of sense if you wanted to pay a cheap price for an average to below average player.
Arden's on an expiring deal, but he's hurt. And, we got 2 more weeks.
Right.
And
if he didn't get moved last year on the hot streak that he was on,
I know.
I think it would be very tough for – and he's a specific kind of player, right? He's not somebody that you can mix and match with. Like, he's a third-down pass rusher. He's a pin your ears back and go get the quarterback guy. Where Draymond Jones, where – it's debatable whether he's done this job to the nth degree, but he's a bigger body. He's an edge setter. He can rush the passer. He's more multi than a lot of these other players would be.
Is he a 1-year deal?
Yes, I believe so. I don't know if there were void years attached to that, which could incur some costs if he is traded. But a 1-year deal, I believe $8.5 million?
That's right.
Oh, dang, man. I have savant-like knowledge. I wish I could remember Cheyenne's birthday and stuff like this. Do you remember what we talked about last night? No, but I do remember Draymond Jones's contract
You know
details.
what? It is such a male thing. Like the useless information that we store and like day-to-day conversations with the people that matter most in our lives, we just have no retention whatsoever.
I'm sorry, baby. I love you.
Test that theory every day.
I think her birthday is today.
No voice. Shut up.
I hope not. Fingers crossed.
God, the amount of times I've done, oh my God.
Is it your mom's birthday again?
Tomorrow.
Oh, dude, we literally do this. It's been like 3 years in a row, dude.
Yeah.
You can't do.
I didn't forget.
I know. Put a note in your calendar right now.
Yeah.
And be like, Mammy's birthday. I got to talk to my mama.
Oh my God. The way that my body like froze up. I'm like, oh my God, I did this last year too. I can't possibly.
Send that lady some flowers.
Hell yeah. All right. Dodged a bullet. Thank God we had this conversation.
Yeah,
what a
you're
productive headline segment we had. 615-737-1045. What do they get when they call in that number and give us the thing in sports that made them say, oh no?
I got 2 tickets to go see the Predators and the Canucks. This for, what the hell is the 23rd? Thursday. Don't make any plans, baby. We're going to go see the Preds.
615-737-1045. Call us and tell us what in sports made you say, oh no. Unlike the changing leaves of fall, our money does not grow on trees. Give Trajan Wealth a call today to ensure you're making the right financial moves for your future. So many people have used Trajan Wealth services, whether it's for wealth management strategies or retirement planning or tactical investments that can give you an opportunity to grow your money successfully. I've talked about Trajan Wealth for a while now, and let me tell you, they make retirement planning simple. No pressure, no confusing jargon, just clear, honest advice from fiduciaries who put your goals first. You will feel more confident, more prepared, and honestly relieved. If you've ever wondered if your plan could be better, get a second opinion from Trajan Wealth today. 2 locations here in Middle Tennessee, Brentwood and Franklin. Their number is 615-270-5000. That's 615-270-5000 or online at TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. This is a paid advertisement. 615-737-1045 is the number for the opportunity to win a pair of Preds tickets to the game on October the 23rd. That's Thursday. And a $100 gift card to a Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. 615-737-1045. Call in and tell us what in sports made you say, oh, no. Robert, would you like to start the bidding?
I would like to start the bidding because there is nothing that makes me more upset than dumb mistakes. Things that are avoidable, things that could be fixed ahead of time, things that if you planned, there wouldn't be any issue avoiding this. The Denver Broncos beat the New York Giants in the most improbable win of the season. 33-32 of the Giants kicker just makes 2 extra points. The Giants win. There's no issue. Although I guess the Broncos would have had to score a touchdown rather than kick a game-winning field goal. But after the game, there was an issue with some of the refereeing, not from the Giants who lost the game. No, it was from linebacker Dre Greenlaw. You know Dre. You know Greenlaw. He was with the San Francisco 49ers, was heralded as one of their great line of linebackers, up there with Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman. He was the next in line. But at the first opportunity of free agency, he bolted. He headed to Denver, and Denver did right by him, despite him coming off an injury that was going to sideline him for the first 6 weeks of the season. Last week was Dre Greenlaw's debut. He was so excited to get on the field, and he had a good game. 5 tackles, no other contributions, but he was all over the field. After the game, though, he made his biggest contribution, chasing down a referee to bark obscenities and threaten him as he left the field. Now Dre Greenlaw has been suspended for 1 game after he just got back. This was going to be one of the Broncos' leaders, one of the Broncos' most impact defensive players, and now he has to sit out a week with the likes of Brian Branch and others who want to make stupid mistakes. So I ask you, Dre Greenlaw, what was the decision? What went into this? Because you won the freaking game.
Yeah.
What else did you want to tell these people? Hey, man, if you ever call that down the middle again, I'm going to beat the hell out of you. What could you possibly have to say to a referee? I would love Pablo, if you have any time in between sniffing Bill Belichick's remains around the UNC program, I need you to figure out from Dre, what did this referee do to you? Was this a pre-existing issue that you have? Were you waiting to see him? Was it, in fact, quote, on site? I need to know, because this was one of the most befuddling things that happened over the weekend, and it wasn't the result of the game. Dre Greenlaw, what the hell are you doing? That's what made me say, oh, no, in sports this week.
My oh no is, and I talked about this yesterday morning to start the show, and again, you're more than welcome to call me a hypocrite for it, but the Mike Vrabel hero worship by a good contingent of Titans fans at Nissan Stadium. I understand that people are upset, and I understand that people are doing some of this in protest of Amy Adams Strunk, and in protest of Burke Nihill, and in protest of everybody else who is most associated with the downfall of the Tennessee Titans organization. But it was extreme over the weekend. The signs where it was a good deal of simping for Mike Vrabel from, again, a contingent of Titans fans, not representative of all Titans fans, of course. And again, there's probably a split between the people that want Mike Vrabel to be their coach still and the people who are just mad at Amy Adams Strunk and are taking the side of Mike Vrabel for that particular game. But it was over the top on Sunday. The Vrabel chants at the end of the game. I didn't actually hear the Vrabel chants because at the 2-minute warning, I just went downstairs. I was like, we're going to the Mike Vrabel press conference. The vast majority of Titans media did go to the Mike Vrabel press conference because, I mean, respectfully to Mike McCoy, like Vrabel in that instance is the bigger story for us, not just Patriots media. So, and I know that was some people's oh no this week as well, but whatever. Like, that's just what it is. So I didn't actually hear the chants, and there was mostly Patriots fans at the end chanting for Mike Vrabel, but it was, I don't know, it's just weird. It's weird to see a fan base having so many struggles that they are, at least some of them, self-loathing to the point where they're actively rooting against their own team. because they are protesting ownership as a result. So I get some of it, but there were extreme examples on Sunday.
Did you hear Mike's comment on the sign that was outside Nissan Stadium on Sunday?
I did. I saw he made a joke that it was his cousin.
Here, I'll let you hear it.
Was it nice to see some of the Titan fan support? I saw a guy with a sign who said, I cut my D off to get Mike Vrabel back here as a head coach. A reference to something you said one time.
Yeah, that was my cousin. I had I take care of all these people that go do that.
I take care of all of those people. I think that might
The
be
fake laughter. Come on.
I don't think that. Well, it could have been fake. Who knows? I'm so used to the real stuff. I think that would be the best existence possible would just be to be a clinger on to someone successful, just where you don't have to do any work. They do all the hard stuff, and you just get to sit back, put your toes in the jacuzzi, sip a nice little champagne. Like, God, that would be so sick. And I'm stuck with you. Stuck with someone like you.
615-737-1045. We'll take your phone calls on the thing that made you say, oh no, coming up next.
What's going on? 11 o'clock. Good morning from the Circus Sports Studios. I am Robert Walsh. The final Monday Night Football doubleheader was last night with two lackluster games. First, we saw the Lions bounce back from their loss against the Chiefs to take down Baker Mayfield and his walking wounded Buccaneers 24-9. Mike Evans came out of the game a little banged up and worse for wear, sustaining a broken collarbone, and he will not return until close to the end of the season, per Bucs head coach Todd Bowles. Next up, the Seattle Seahawks were propped up by Jackson Smith-Njigba and his 8-catch and 123-yard performance to take down the Texans 27-19 for the third game in a row. JSN has had 1,000 receiving yards and a touchdown catch, breaking a tie for the longest streak in Seahawks history. He leads the NFL with 819 receiving yards and has now accounted for 46% of the team's receiving yards, the highest rate in the NFL. And breaking news as of this morning, Brandon Graham has come out of retirement to rejoin the Philadelphia Eagles. Graham was the longest tenure Eagle in franchise history, playing 15 years and accumulating 76 and a half sacks over that time. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5.
The Zone.
That's my part.
Second hour is upon us. We're happy to have you. Lucas is out with food poisoning because, of course, he is. He eats like a raccoon. 615-737-1045 is the number. If you would like to jump in, we're going to get back to your phone calls on what in sports made you say, oh, no, here in just a second. We are also in this hour going to talk about Cam Ward and a little bit of the discourse that we had yesterday. I thought, Robert, we had a very reasonable and nuanced conversation between Lucas and I yesterday. I know that Twitter is not the place for such discussions. I do think it warrants a discussion when the quarterback is playing well enough, but still makes enough plays that directly cost you the opportunity to win a game. I'm not pinning the Patriots' loss exclusively on Cam Ward. I would pin it on Cam Ward and the run defense and L'Jarius Sneed. I think all of those things are the reasons why they lost a football game on Sunday. And it's not the first time that it's happened around Cam Ward, nor is he the first rookie quarterback to experience struggles. But again, trends and bad habits that he's not breaking through 7 games are worth discussing as far as, all right, if he makes enough plays, if he has a couple of these wow throws, but he still makes plays that lose you the game, how much are we going to pay attention to that? How big of a portion of the discourse does that deserve? And we'll talk about that within the context of the quarterback who was on the opposing sideline from him on Sunday in Drake May here in just a second.
Right, because two things can be true. One thing that Cam had some good throws, the touchdown to DK, the moving down the field, he had some good throws. But you can also say, oh, no, at the fumble that started the 14-point swing.
He's honestly a better oh no, because that's like that. He was the nail in the coffin of that game. Like, he drove that final nail home with the fumble recovery, the fumble that just slipped out of his hands. Tyler Dial says, are we going to talk about Lloyd Cushenberry allegedly having swamp ass causing Cam Ward fumbles? No, we are not, because that is excuse making. I don't know Ben Kurt other than to follow him on Twitter. I appreciate that there are former NFL players willing to provide analysis and insight on some things that the rest of us are trying to learn more about and to understand. I also think that it is lame-ass excuse-making to say that a center with a sweaty butt caused Cam Ward to just let a football fall out of his hands. I also think it's lame as hell to blame the equipment staff for, as Ben Kurt alleged, potentially not tacking the ball properly. No, he's done this multiple times. I don't stop. Like, just in the same way that I wish Dan Orlovsky would stop gaslighting people about Cam Ward on Twitter, while I appreciate that Dan also enjoys the spectacular throws that he makes, he is not there yet. I don't want to have top 8 quarterback discussion about Cam Ward after 6 games. I don't want to have bust conversation around Cam Ward through 7 games either. I think both are extremes. I think both have no place in the dialogue. It is worth talking about their week-by-week performance it is worth talking about the things that they do that help win you a game. Obviously, that hasn't happened very often, and the things that they have done to lose you a game, which has happened far more frequently. Anyway, 615-737-1045 is the number. What in sports made you say, oh no, for the opportunity to win 2 Preds tickets to Thursday's game and a $100 gift card to a Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. Let's start with Zach in Franklin.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mo, no, is the Tennessee fan base turning on Danny White over the Tony Vitello situation? The guy's done an outstanding job leading the UT athletics across the board, and now people are blaming him for something that's out of his control. You can't fault the coach for chasing his dream of managing in the big leagues, and also you can't fault the AD for not standing in the way of that. Vitello earned that shot, and Danny's track record proves he knows how to build and retain winners. This one's not on him.
Quickly, Vitello hasn't taken the job yet, right?
No, he hasn't, but yesterday a lot of people in the fan base, because I have a Facebook page, Tennessee Baseballs, and everyone on there is like blaming Danny White. Even, what's his name that plays, he plays on the Giants, but Jared Dickey made a tweet yesterday. He deleted it, but there's a lot of blame going towards Danny White if Vitello was to leave.
Thank you for the call. I think the longer that plays out, the better it is for Vols fans, right? Like that he hasn't just outright taken the job. I think Mike Wilson was tweeting yesterday that he was at Lindsey Nelson Field for another one of Tennessee baseball's scrimmages. Like Danny White may be doing as much as humanly possible to keep him there. I would agree if there is any contingent. Man, Vols fans, passion is awesome. They are crazy. They are one of the most insane fan bases anywhere in sports. I've said this a million times. You know this if you're a Vols fan. The idea that there would be any dialogue, any negative dialogue around Danny White for the place that he has helped restore the athletic program to across the board. And I understand you're not winning national championships in football just yet, but you've never been closer than you are right now, and Danny White has a great deal to do with that. So, yes, I would agree with Zach and Franklin. Speaking of Zach's, let's go to Zach in Chattanooga.
Hey, Doug. What made me say, oh no, this weekend was Carson Beck and how he went back to his true form, throwing 4 picks in a game he should have won by 20.
Thank you for the call. It was less to me about the interceptions. Robert, did you see the postgame comments?
I did not.
So it's worth playing at some point, and maybe when Pate comes in studio. I talked to Pate today. He's booked solid, but he will join us at some point in the near future.
Yeah, he is. That dude is rock solid. Have you ever bumped into that guy before?
Yeah.
My doughy body acts like a Tempur-Pedic every time I swear, he elbowed me
Josh
on accident.
Pate, you mentioned that you are built like a refrigerator, and then I pointed out to you that you're more like a pear. Josh Pate is the refrigerator.
He's built like a tree swing. That dude is he is the tree and the swing.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Carson Beck had some comments after the fact. He threw 4 interceptions. 2 were tip drill passes. There was a final interception in the game that ended up costing them the opportunity. Hell of an upset for Louisville, by the way. More people are talking about Miami blowing it than Louisville pulling off the upset, to their credit, and knocking off, at the time, the number 2 team in the country. Shout out Miami for losing, so Indiana can be number 2. Carson Beck had some comments about a wide receiver running the wrong route, and I was on the final interception, and I was fine with the explanation. Like, he's walking through what the play is, how they're supposed to be hot on that particular play. He's explaining it in a reasonable, calm tone, and then he just has a snide comment at the end, or a comment that could be perceived as snide. As somebody who has tone issues myself, I can recognize the behavior, where he just, after the explanation, he just says, yeah, it would have helped if we could have run the right play. It's like, you shouldn't do that if you're the quarterback. You had 3 other interceptions. I understand that 2 were caused by the defense on those tip passes, but you shouldn't take out your teammate that way. I don't like that. If I'm an NFL team scouting that guy ahead of the 2026 NFL draft, I would also not like that behavior.
Yeah, if I was a scout, I would go, good God, that guy is ugly. Oh, my God, get his picture away from me.
He is very unfortunate looking. But he's doing all right financially. Money isn't everything, but it helps you if you're ugly. 615-737-1045. Johnny is in Nashville.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir. I am calling from the couch, actually. I'm couch surfing because of the Tennessee Vols. And my wife, she's an Alabama fan. We've been having this ongoing rivalry throughout our relationship, and we've got them the last couple times, and I've had bragging rights the last couple years. And Joey Aguilar is the reason why I'm couch surfing, by the way.
So she kicked you out of your bedroom because
you dang right she did, and with good reason. With good reason. Okay, when he threw that pick six to end the half, she makes this nice big old batch of cheese dip every year, and I just get mad and tip it over. In true fanboy style, I ruined the whole damn thing for everybody. And I'm sitting here on the couch looking like Andy Dufresne from Shawshank Redemption. And I'm like, I've been to 100 Preds games, but she's never been to one. So I'm trying to get off this damn couch, give her something to look forward to. I've done brought her flowers, chocolates, the whole shebang. So I figured I heard it on the radio on the way home. So I'm going to throw my name in the hat there and see what happens. But, yeah, I did something wrong. And love and college football don't mix, especially in the third Saturday in October.
Amen, brother. What a call. Thank you for the call, Johnny. Remember to stay on hold for the opportunity to win those tickets.
Hey, Johnny, it's okay. I've been in the doghouse before, too. And it's even worse because, hell, my girlfriend roots for my team. But after week one, I was so dang mad after the Bills came back and beat the Ravens. I had kicked this pizza box, and when I kicked it, I did not understand that there was a container of sauce in there, and the sauce got on the damn ceiling, it got on the walls, and I got home the next day.
Did you kick it straight in the air? How did it get on the ceiling?
Because I'm a strong trunk legs, man. What do you mean? I kicked the hell out of that thing. And the sauce was all over the ceiling. Cheyenne made me get cut a sponge in half and put it through the loop on the other side of a broom. So then I'm looking like a daggum chimney cleaner trying to get the sauce off the ceiling. So I get it, man. You can't let your emotions get the best of you. But sometimes you ain't got no choice but to kick a pizza box.
Flipping the cheese dip. The surest way to end up on the couch. All right, let's give one more opportunity to somebody to usurp Johnny in Nashville, because that's obviously the leader in the clubhouse. How about Kyle in Nashville?
What's up, guys? I don't know how I'm going to beat that.
You're probably not, but you can make an effort.
You give you a puncher's chance.
First and foremost, I want to say rest in peace to the muscle hamster, Doug Martin. It's always sad when we lose somebody in the sports world, especially somebody as gifted and talented as he was. My oh no is going to be, it's a two-part and both include throws from the goal line, opposite goal lines from the Tennessee-Alabama game. First one, as he alluded to, what got him on the couch, that pick six. Yeah. Throwing the ball from the 1 yard line and into coverage like that made zero sense to me. You take the points there, and then you got the lead with the touchdown to start the second half. It just was boneheaded, in my opinion. And then on the other goal line, the safety, why are you throwing the ball from your own 1 yard line and putting your quarterback in a situation to where, he's either taking a sack or throwing it away, as he did, taking intentional grounding and getting, the safety. So 2 play calls, one on each goal line that basically it turned me off for the game. At that point, I just kind of knew that, I knew which way it was going. And so those 2 plays right there were brutal.
It's reasonable to be upset about. It was a tough game. After that play to end the half, I feel like most Vols fans were just like, yeah, that's ball game. Even though, I know they tried to make it a 1-score game in the second half, but all for naught.
I don't think Johnny should take his old lady. I think Johnny should take me.
I think Johnny should take you to the Preds game and give his lovely significant other, who gets to celebrate the victory this week, the $100 gift card to a Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa.
That's a whole lot nicer way to say it than old lady. But do people still do that? Be like, oh, that's my old lady. I love that.
What are you in a biker gang?
That's a term of endearment.
Like, that's the only thing I associate the term old lady with when talking about a significant other is like Sons of Anarchy.
You wait until Cheyenne and I get officially hitched, and I will exclusively. They ain't no fiance. You know what? I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna start calling her that. because it's hard for me
You
to
think she's got too much name brand equity on the show? She's getting too much shine, too much shine for
me
Cheyenne?
to get over the fiance thing. Because I'm like, this is my girlfriend. And she's like, fiance. So I'm going to say, this is my old lady. This is my old lady, Cheyenne. She's all right.
Congratulations to Johnny in Nashville. He wins the tickets. Well done by Johnny. Take care of the cheese dip next time. All right, coming up next, Drake May's path. Can it be applicable to Cam Ward? We'll talk about it coming up next. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Maybe that's what Lucas needs. More Hattie B's. That'll cure what ails him.
I did have a pitch for Hattie B's.
Okay. Do you want me to call Nick Bishop right now? We can call him on the air.
Now listen.
What are we pitching?
This is. I had this idea because I was going to make some of this, but I thought that the fine people at Hattie B's would be able to do a much better job than I would be able to do at home. What if it's like? Let me paint the picture. It's cold. It's chilly. Your bones are shaking, not just from the outside weather, but also because football sucks right now. The Vols lost. The Titans lost.
Not for everybody.
You need
just for us.
You need something to light up your soul, to provide that warmth inside you. White, hot chicken chili.
Whoa.
Dude. That where it would be creamy, but it's the hot chicken. You get the beans. Because I was going to make some white chicken chili the other day.
It's just starting to get chilly enough in the air, at least in the morning,
that
to consider chili season.
That you could do something like that.
Wow.
But if Hattie B's and every collab they do, they kill it. The Joyland Burger for the burger competitions, all of that is exceptional. But, and I may be wrong, maybe it's not going to be worth a darn, but white hot chicken chili would be incredible.
I think that's the best idea you've ever had.
I'm doing my best over here. I'm trying.
Lucas is out today with food poisoning. He texted us and said he was throwing up at 4:30 this morning and then again at about 7:45 this morning. We think he's lying, right?
Anytime a coworker is not at work, we are always going to be like, what's he really doing? What's he really got going on?
Because I noticed that Nashville SC put out they're getting ready for the playoffs. They got a best-of-3 series against Miami, Inter Miami, coming up here in the not-too-distant future. And so they put out a hype video, and you know who is featured in the hype video.
I know. I saw him recording it. He was.
Why is he recording it in the crappy little production studio, by the way? Did somebody tell him, no, you can't use the real studio for that? He's sitting in the place where I cut my erectile dysfunction ads. Doing a Nashville SC playoff hype video.
It was during the day. I think Cover 2 was on the air. It would have been a hassle for him to come in here and make sure the red light was on. I thought Nashville SC did an incredible job with the hype video about the playoffs coming up. So that was fun.
But he's got time to post that. He doesn't have time to show up for work?
Yes. Well, he was also throwing things in the Twitter chat. And
was he?
Well, just to help. Yeah, he's trying to be helpful.
No, he's not.
When you're sick
he's
at
bored.
home, you're just looking at your phone.
He's doom scrolling in his bed while he eats. He probably is eating more with food poisoning.
This should have been a poll today, but what was your sick day television show? When you would sit out of school because, oh, mommy, my tummy hurt, I can't go to school. But then you'd really be jumping off the couches while she's at work. I watched Judge Judy and Price is Right. I don't think there was a sick day that I did not watch that combo.
Judge Judy and Price is Right. See, that was like my grade school summer vacation. I'm at my grandparents' house and Price is Right is on. Mm-hmm. Price is Right and Jeopardy are deep. That and Wheel of Fortune deeply embedded in my childhood because that's what your grandparents watched during the day. Also, we have an interesting, maybe late Two Rivers Ford poll that I just put up on Twitter because I like the idea of it. I'm curious to see what the audience thinks. Josh Thorne on YouTube says, if Lucas dies of his food poisoning, what is the over-under that Buck shows up at the funeral?
You would be there. You would buy the flowers. You would stop it. Act like you wouldn't be considerate and be there and try to be the best. I love this facade that you put on. I'm really a terrible person. I'm really an awful person. When you would probably do just about anything for me and Lucas if we really needed it. What's the odds Buck goes to the funeral? You would be there crying. You would look like a widow. You would have the black veil over your eyes.
He is the longest relationship I've ever had. He has outlasted every one of these poor women who have tried to put up with me.
And the thing is, like, the women are shunned and pushed away. Like, Lucas is pushing you away.
True.
Lucas is pushing you away. You can't
shun them.
So if you are a woman out there trying to get in control of Buck's life, why not me? Why not me? You need to push him away. You need to say, no, Not allowed to have this. No more. You said nothing. And then he would be like a cat. You are truly a cat. Even that sounded like a purr.
Somebody yesterday actually called you and Lucas my stray cats, which felt appropriate. That sounded like a purr.
If I was one of your stray cats, I would hope that I would be Fat Ogre. He is my favorite of your background or backyard cats.
The alley cats that live in North Nashville.
I miss Fat Ogre. I need to go see Fat Ogre again.
Please come take these things
he
out
looks
of my
like
yard.
my son. He's just a giant, puffy-faced orange cat with battle scars all over. Every time I'm like, hey, Fat Ogre, what are you doing? Someone who is probably the antithesis of Fat Ogre.
Would Lucas show up at my funeral is the better question, because I think that's a less likely. Because you're right. At the end of the day, I'm more jet puff marshmallow than I like to let on.
Well, that would be the closest thing we would ever get to your wedding. So yeah, I assume your funeral would have an open bar, right? Just to be respectful.
God, yes. Are you kidding me?
You would have to. I'm one of
those people that wants the funeral while I'm still alive so I can enjoy it. Like, I can see people say nice things about me just for my own self-gratification. Kind of like Bruce Springsteen having a movie about himself while he's still alive.
I think it would be upsetting to you, the things people would say to you in your coffin. I would
just whisper, I'm glad you're dead. I'm just here to make sure that you're actually gone.
What's the hater picture where he's like dressed up like Coming to America, and it's like just came to make sure my biggest ops was put in the ground. I would be charging a fee outside the funeral. If you ever had any issues with Buck and you'd like to give that face a good, you just come in here right now. You let it all out. Time to have a Cam Ward conversation, too. Huh? Yeah. Time to have a Cam Ward conversation. You like that?
Oh, my God.
I think there is a conversation to be had about the path that the quarterback who just beat the Titans last week is on, and if that is mimicable by the Tennessee Titans and Cam Ward.
Replicable.
Copyable. Copy and pasteable. Stealable.
Just gonna let you sit there.
Borrowable. That's all I got.
Okay, very good. So, Drake May was not a consensus MVP candidate his rookie season. We understand this, right? The Patriots were a bad football team. They were coached by Gerard Mayo, who was not impressive. Paul Kaharski put this out through 7 starts, a side-by-side comparison of Drake May and Cam Ward. Now, Drake May was better than Cam Ward through 7 starts. It's worth noting here. And I would say, Drake May is, we would argue, even as a rookie, clearly more top-end talented than Cam Ward is, right? Like, the ceiling for Drake May is infinitely higher than it is for Cam Ward. He's more athletic than Cam Ward is. He's got more arm strength than Cam Ward does. He seems to have refined a lot of the things, a lot of those raw tools to be the best version of himself so far. And obviously, it doesn't take much to beat up on the Tennessee Titans in 2025. But he did exactly that. He set a franchise completion percentage record. He was outrageously efficient and was able to take advantage of some rush lanes that the Titans defense presented to him to the tune of more than 60 yards rushing on the ground. So even when you stop Drake May through the air, he was able to kill you with his legs. Nobody would dispute. I don't think even the most diehard Titans simp would call in here today and argue that Drake May is not a better, I don't know, are we still calling them prospects? He's a year 2 player. But that Drake May doesn't have a clearly and obviously higher ceiling than Cam Ward. Now, that's not to denigrate Cam Ward. It's just to say that it's not a one-to-one comparison. So, this is courtesy of Paul Kaharski NFL, at Paul Kaharski NFL. Cam Ward through 7 starts, completing 57.6% of his passes. By the way, he had a career high through 7 games, completion percentage on Sunday against the Patriots, north of 73%. 1,356 yards, 4 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, a passer rating of 70.9, 5 fumbles. All 5 fumbles have been lost by Cam Ward. That is a league lead Among all ball carriers, all running backs, all quarterbacks, all wide receivers, Cam Ward has lost more fumbles than anybody in football so far this season. He is 1-7 as a result, in part. It's not exclusively his fault, but he has contributed to their losses. Drake May, through 7 starts, a significantly higher, almost 10% higher completion percentage, 66.1, 1,436 passing yards, 10 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, a passer rating of 86.5. He did have 5 fumbles through 7 games. He lost 4 of them, Drake May did, and was 2-5 as the Patriots' starting quarterback in his rookie season. So, even as a rookie, Drake May was better. Nobody can come in here and tell me that the Patriots had a better roster last year than the Titans. Than the Titans do this year. The Titans, I think, even though the Titans are awful, have an appreciably better roster than the 2024 Patriots. I won't hear otherwise. It's just factually inaccurate if you try to make that case. Can, though, there be the kind of progression for Cam Ward, or at least a similar progression to Cam Ward, than there was for Drake May? That is something that you have to figure out if you're the Titans organization, because this was Cam Ward's, I would argue, as a passer, his most well-rounded performance. He did have inaccuracies. The interception, I know it was tipped. It was a bad throw. The fumble that he lost was exclusively on Cam Ward. Nobody forced that turnover. It was recovered in the end zone for a touchdown.
Why are so many people making that interception Chig's fault?
Because they want to defend the one thing that makes them happy, the one thing that gives them hope, the one thing that they desperately, desperately want to succeed, which is Cam Ward. They are oversensitive about Cam Ward.
Because, if that ball was thrown better, it would have been in front of him. He tried to make up for a bad throw to catch it behind him. I understand people saying he has to catch that, but if Cam throws a better ball, similar, and I know we disagreed on this when it happened, but similar to the Van Jefferson throw in preseason, if it was a better throw, Van Jefferson wouldn't have had to extend his arms and leap to try to catch that ball. If it was a better throw, it'd hit him right in the hands. So, I think you can say the two things are true. Chig, okay, should he have caught the ball? Sure. But at the end of the day, it wasn't a good enough throw. It had to be a better throw. I don't understand why there's so much discourse over this.
Because, again, Robert, they're oversensitive. It's the only thing they've got. If you look at the Titans organization, you got Cam Ward, the idea of Cam Ward, because it's not really even Cam Ward yet. It's the fact that you drafted a quarterback number 1 overall, the fact that it is entirely too soon to declare yourself in or out on Cam Ward as the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. You do not have to do extremes, and people are too quick to veer to extremes, because if there is even any slight remote criticism of him, people then veer to the opposite direction. And I think Ramon was saying they were calling him a hater for criticizing Cam Ward. You sent me a tweet that said that I was being racist because I was critical of
Tired of his racist ass.
Tired of, imagine. Half the audience thinks I'm a bleeding heart lib. The other half thinks I'm a racist. So.
It's nice to live in the middle, though. Nice to live in the middle.
Is
it? Hate from both sides, baby. The walls are closing in on you. Eventually, we'll figure it out, you chameleon.
Oh, God. So, and again, that is online dialogue, right? I don't think that that's representative of the majority of the fan base. I don't think that everybody is as unhinged as Titans fans are on a game day. That's the most sensitive version of an overly sensitive fan base already. And who could possibly blame them for being overly sensitive? Their football life is a living hell. Nobody faults them for this. At least, certainly I don't. I really don't take it personally. I understand why they are the way that they are. Okay? The other part of this is, though, he plays for an organization that you cannot possibly trust to get it right. And I know the Patriots were dysfunctional when they did the Gerard Mayo thing. You know what they did? They hired a coach that's good enough that isn't going to further the development of your quarterback necessarily. But what did he do? He found the one guy that is not going to leave him for a head coaching opportunity. Josh McDaniels is not getting another head coaching job in the NFL. No way, shape, or form is Josh McDaniels going to be, Matt LaFleur or Arthur Smith, who leaves Mike Vrabel with a Todd Downing option and then peters out. If Josh McDaniels is the offensive coordinator for the Patriots for the rest of his career, nobody would be surprised. But he can further the development of Drake May. So you got leader guy head coach, and you've got veteran offensive coordinator that's already flamed out twice as a head coach, so you know you're not losing that guy, and you're getting better play out of your offense than I think most people would have imagined. I think the way that they play has helped mitigate some of the Patriots' offensive line deficiencies. I think Stephon Diggs has been objectively good this year. That catch that he made in the game against on a beautiful throw from Drake May. Again, Drake May is excellent so far this season. He is a top 10 quarterback objectively by any measure. But it's making Kayshon Boutte better. It's making Will Campbell better. It's making an aging Stephon Diggs better. So it's elevating all of the things that you had question marks about on the Titans roster. The Patriots got it wrong, and then they got it right. But what they had on the front end was a quarterback with a high ceiling. Now, Drake May's ceiling is higher than Cam Ward's, and that's fine. That doesn't mean that Drake May will have a better career than Cam Ward. It doesn't mean that Cam Ward will have a better career than Drake May, right? All of these things are up in the air, as they should be through 7 games. But the thing that has to be relied upon, the thing that has to be done here is the Titans have to get it right. Cosell said this the other day, and it's about, I think people would probably push back on it. But I think that it's largely true. Do you think that there is an appreciable difference, Robert, in 80% of NFL starting quarterbacks? Like an appreciable difference.
Starting, and we're talking about, this isn't like the Kyle Bowlers of the world.
Talking 1 to 32 from who's the worst starting quarterback in football right now?
Probably
Geno?
Justin Fields.
Okay.
Or Geno. Yeah,
Fields got benched.
It's debatable, but yeah, like those guys, the 80%. So what would 80, do the math real quick. What would 80% of 32 be?
You do that. I'm not going to do that.
Let's say, sure, but I would agree with you. There are exceptions to that, and some of them do things slightly better than other ones do. But in a roundabout number, sure, I would agree with that 80% of quarterbacks.
So let's just say that 80% of quarterbacks are basically as talented as one another, but the organizations are not as competent as one another. The organizations are not as effective as one another. So you have a talent pool that's largely the same amount of guy. Obviously, there's guys who have greater mobility. There's guys who have greater accuracy. There are guys who are at the top echelon of this, Mahomes, Lamar, and Josh Allen, who both have the skill and the traits to make them clearly and obviously better than everybody else. But if you're telling me that there are Matt Stafford, right? Like there are guys who are clearly and obviously superior to the rest of the pack. But if you told me that Drake May and Cam Ward and Jackson Dart end up having similar careers, but they play for different organizations or have the opportunity to have similar careers because the talent isn't that much different between the three of them, I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm going to look at the organizations that they play for and be like, well, the Titans are going to burn that one out, and the Patriots got it wrong, but they seem to have figured it out in the immediate, and I don't know what to do with Jackson Dart in New York. All I know is that Brian Daboll has a track record of success with quarterbacks, even if the New York Giants haven't been a successful organization in the last couple of years.
Some stats to add to this, and maybe a little feather for Titans fans to put in their cap that Cam Ward can get better. You gave the stats for Drake May through his first 7 starts. I'll give them to you for his rookie season. Ended up having 10 interceptions, 5 fumbles on the year, 15 turnovers total with only 15 touchdowns. This year, 12 touchdowns, 3 fumbles, 2 interceptions. So the turnovers improved. He got better year to year 2. Not something that you could say, oh, yeah, Cam Ward's definitely going to do this, but there is a pedigree. There is an option for this to result in something that is not him continuing to throw the ball, farting the ball backwards, as your old high school coach would say.
Well, he would use a more graphic word.
Dude, I had some mean coaches in high school. One time I remember getting pinned pretty early from this kid because I got stuck on something, and he told me, no, don't worry, kid. Don't worry, Bert. It's not your fault. It's my fault for believing in you. Some positive Drake May stats. He leads the league right now in completion percentage and passer rating after last week's game.
If I am down on Cam Ward, it's not that I'm down on Cam Ward. If I am skeptical of Cam Ward's future, it's because I don't trust the Titans to do the right thing. That's it. Now, I think that Mike Borgonzi is the one shining potential shred of hope here as far as competency from the organization. He's the only person and his staff, and I think that there's going to be staff turnover because there's scouts that have been here since John Robinson. Like, they survived John, they survived Rand, now there's Borgonzi, and I think that there is going to be an infrastructure change that is long overdue with the Titans organization. I don't know if Borgonzi is going to be long-term good. I have no earthly idea. All I know is he hasn't fouled up yet of all of the people who are responsible for screwing this thing royally, and that would give me a shred of confidence that Cam Ward is going to be supported in a proper way. The rest of it, though, I mean, how could you possibly look at the Titans organization and say, yeah, I trust them to handle a young quarterback? You couldn't. You'd be fooled to. 615-737-1045 is the number. If you want to jump in, we will take your phone calls on this subject coming up next. All your favorite NBA players are back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is the place to bet on NBA stars this season. With more markets open for more of the game, DraftKings, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, is live when others aren't. New customers bet just $5 and get 3 months of NBA League Pass, plus score $300 if your bet wins. Paid in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sports app and use code THEZONE. That's code THEZONE, one word. Bet $5 and get 3 months of League Pass plus $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. 21 plus, Tennessee only. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. NBA League Pass auto renews until canceled. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Well, it wasn't supposed to start like that, but the song I put in there was apparently changed to that. Welcome back.
What?
I literally don't know how something like that happens. I put a song in, and it puts in a YouTube chat commercial instead of a song.
Also, what a weird way to tease the YouTube chat by saying that I don't look at the YouTube chat.
Yeah, I think it was old. You definitely look at the chat. You're absorbed with it. But hold on.
Yeah, it's about me. It makes me happy.
We can do this whole thing over again. We'll fix it in post. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
No one will ever know.
Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Glad we could fix that in post.
Yeah.
615-737-1045 is the number if you would like to participate. We were just talking about Cam Ward. Can there be a Drake May type of trajectory for a player who's obviously got talent, but is currently not skilled enough at the NFL level, though those skills are something that we are going to allow for more time to take hold, to develop, or to not develop. Obviously, there's plenty of talented players that don't become skilled football players because of one reason or another. The thing that you trust the most about Cam Ward at this point is the mental makeup. That is something that is not coachable. It is something that is not teachable. And it is something that is going to give you enough confidence that this player wants to get it right and wants to be great. And the drive of all of that will allow him to work the way that he needs to work to fine-tune his footwork, his mechanics, his ball placement, his accuracy, his turnover issues, and all the other things that were the book on him coming out of college and have been what we've seen so far, talented player with some concerns on a bad football team that's not giving him enough help right now because they have no one else to help him. The news of the day is that Tyler Lockett asked for his release. Last night I gave you some context on that on AtoZSports.com. We talked about it to start the show. We will address it again here in about 10 minutes when we talk about what it means for the rest of the roster, what it could mean for the rest of the roster. Titans coordinators did speak today already, so you will hear it from Nick Holtz on Xavier Restrepo, finally. Does every Titans wide receiver just need to quit for Xavier Restrepo to get on the field? Find out later. In the meantime, your phone calls. Chuck is in Clarksville.
Hey, Buck. Hey, I've got the stat of the day, but before I say that, I did see some things Sunday that I really liked. The tempo was better. I thought the decision making on play calls was better. I think we're going in a better direction. But the stat of the day for this team is we asked. Cam said it. We asked. That's the stat of the day. Until we can correct that, nothing else is going to change. So we need to, whatever we got to do in the trade deadline, get some more draft picks, give Borgonzi some more ammunition. I mean, I thought his draft this year was really, really good. You got probably 5, maybe 6 starters out of it. Let's give him 10 picks and see what happens. But right now, the stat of the day is we asked. Cam hit it right.
All right, very good. I think that would fit the qualifier of a fact as opposed to a stat, but your concerns are warranted. The other part of this is the sustainability of drafting. Now, obviously, it's way too early in Mike Borgonzi's tenure to have any kind of conversation like this, but I am curious to see, one, how they improve, if they improve, and how he handles and his staff handles the idea of, well, yeah, what if you don't have the top pick in almost every round, right? I know there's a cycle when you have the top pick where you're not picking at the top of every round. It's cycled between the Giants, the Titans, and the Browns. Titans obviously had the number 1 overall pick, but then they didn't have the first pick in the second round. On and on it goes. You get these things. There are tiebreakers associated with that as well. But John Robinson was doing fine when he was picking at the top of most of these rounds, and then he tailed off when he started picking in the mid to low 20s. So far too early for a Mike Borgonzi discussion that way. I do think it's pretty hard to screw up a draft when you have assets that are what the Titans had heading into this year's draft. A conversation for another day. Jack is in Knoxville.
So I noticed with the Cam Ward fumbles, he actually pats the ball mid-windup, not like before indicating he's about to throw it, but like at a point where it's actually knocking the ball out of where he actually wants to grip it. And the reason we're seeing these fumbles is because his hand that's patting the ball is knocking it out at the worst possible time in his windup. The good news is we at least now can see exactly where it's happening and what's wrong.
Well, that's interesting. I haven't made that. I haven't. It's not an observation that I've made, Jack. I'll have to go back and review that. I appreciate the call. Yeah, I haven't noticed that. But if that's true, then it's worth paying attention to. Now, all 5 fumbles have just slipped out of his hands, right? He had 2 in back-to-back weeks, which is why it's a talking point. 1 recovered for a touchdown like it was on Sunday. He does hold the ball too long. He does try to extend plays. He doesn't take things that are safety valve type of throws at this point in time. He needs to get better at that. So that's not been my specific observation, Jack, but if that's something that's true, we can flesh that out. And Cam Ward speaks tomorrow. I'll be at the press conference, and I'll go back and look at the fumbles that he just has lost, because it's only been the 2, right? I mean, the other fumbles that he's had, he's just gotten whopped.
Yeah, fumbling in that way have been and he is patting the ball, but I also wonder if it's not how quick both of those instances, he was trying to get the ball from very low on his body. He keeps the ball kind of low. And when he brought it up, I wonder if he was bringing it up so quick that it just dislodged from his hand. And, not to make the tiny hands Kenny Pickett joke,
well,
but,
he doesn't have tiny hands. He's got the same hand size as Mahomes, right?
And Mahomes doesn't have that issue. So, I mean, if you didn't want to use that excuse, I would understand that.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Did you have more to your point?
Nope.
All right. Joe wants to talk about white chicken chili.
Yes. Hey, Buck. So the white chicken chili, you're supposed to have cornbread on the side and mozzarella and sour cream.
Ooh.
And, when I was sick in the bed, when I'm a grown-up, y'all was talking about what shows y'all watch. I watch The Nanny and Who's the Boss. But he does have small hands.
Thank you for the call, Joe in Madison.
God, The Nanny? I don't know.
The Nanny's a banger.
It is a banger. Love Fran Drescher. We were talking about, was Fran Drescher hot or was she ugly hot? Because Lucas and I, and when his fiance was in town, we were talking about classically beautiful, hot, ugly hot. What's the differentiation?
What was Megan's feedback? Because she matters most here.
We didn't talk about Fran Drescher. We were just seeing where people fit into certain categories. And thinking about it, one of my ugly hot suggestions was Sarah Silverman. I find her extremely attractive. Part of it is because she's funny. But you know what I mean? You wouldn't say she was classically beautiful. See, I think Fran Drescher would fall in the ugly hot category. And it sounds more derogatory than it actually is.
Derogatory.
What did I say? Diagonally?
Derogatory.
Oh.
Diagonally.
Dietary. Whatever. I think she's ugly hot, but I feel like that's such an... it doesn't sound as good as it actually is.
The voice is a tough hurdle to overcome.
Oh, nice. It'd be all right. It'd be all right. My old lady's kind of like that. Love you, baby.
Oh, goodness. Let's talk about who's got the best quarterback situation in the AFC South. We will do that coming up next.
What's going on? Noon 01. Good afternoon from the Circus Sports Studios. I am Robert Walsh. The final Monday Night Football doubleheader was last night with two lackluster games. First, we saw the Lions bounce back from their loss against the Chiefs to take down Baker Mayfield and his walking wounded Buccaneers 24-9. Mike Evans came into the game a little banged up and left worse for wear, sustaining a broken collarbone, and he will not be back until closer to the end of the season, per Bucs head coach Todd Bowles. Next up, the Seahawks were propped up by Jackson Smith-Njigba in his 8-catch, 123-yard performance to take down the Texans 27-19. For the third game in a row, JSN has 100 receiving yards and a touchdown catch, breaking a tie for the longest streak in Seahawks history. And the breaking news this morning, Brandon Graham coming out of retirement to rejoin the Philadelphia Eagles. Graham was the longest tenured Eagle in franchise history, playing 15 years and accumulating 76.5 sacks over that time. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Final hour is upon us. Jason Fitz of Yahoo Sports and Fox Sports Radio will join us in just about 18 minutes from now, and we will ask him the question that I'm getting ready to ask you. Which AFC South team has the best quarterback situation? It's pretty convoluted right now. The standings at this point in time are obvious. You've got the Indianapolis Colts with the best record in football across the board. They are 6-1. They are the only one-loss team left in the NFL so far this year. Their next opponent, of course, is the Tennessee Titans, traveling up to Indianapolis this weekend. And fair to expect that that would probably not go in the Titans' favor. These two teams have already met earlier in Week 3, and the Colts handled the Titans the way that the Colts have damn near handled just about everybody so far this year. They have not played very many close games. The one close game that they did play was at home against the Denver Broncos, where a late penalty by Denver put them in a better position to kick a field goal and walk away with a win that they probably should not have had. But either way, they're 6-1. Jacksonville 4-3, suffering a just lopsided defeat at the hand of the Los Angeles Rams in London. The Houston Texans losing last night in dramatic fashion to the Seattle Seahawks. By the way, the Seahawks and Titans will play here in Nashville in about 3 weeks from now. And then there's the Tennessee Titans, who do have the number 1 overall pick at quarterback, but he is 1-6, and he is struggling. And we understand all the context around the struggles, and that context is important when talking about the viability of the quarterback. But is there a team in the AFC South that you would consider to have a good quarterback situation? We put this to a poll on Twitter, at Buck Rising is where you can vote on the polls. We will update them courtesy of Two Rivers Ford at the end of the show, as is the custom. By the way, Lucas, who typically handles the polls, is out with food poisoning. We suggest that you tweet him and ask him what it was. What garbage did he eat yesterday that finally got the best of him? It feels like he's good for at least 2 of these a year.
How many do I get?
I don't even know what to do with you. If you can't control the fact that you eat in your sleep, most people sleepwalk, you both sleepwalk and sleep eat. I feel like you are also good for 2 of these a year.
Okay, well,
you've already exercised 1.
Okay, yeah, I had 1 when I got so sick I couldn't smoke cigs.
That was more, was that when you were coughing up blood and we told you to stop instead of smoking through it?
No, that was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I worked through that.
That was smart.
I was here. Fought through the pain.
Well, you also refused to go see a doctor, which is on brand.
Why?
Because you were coughing up blood.
It wasn't like it was in me. It was my throat was scratchy. It had been doing it all day. And if you end up ingesting too much blood, you're going to uke anyway. And I wasn't uking. Why would I go down there, pay a $455 copay for them to be like, oh, you'll be fine in a couple days. Just spray this really nasty.
Health insurance do you have?
I don't
that you're
know how
paying
much this stuff
$500
costs.
worth of copay.
I ain't been to a doctor in 7 years,
Well, that's
man.
apparent.
I wish I could call you what I really... Yeah, I wish we had prime time tonight just so I could call you something.
No, if you try to take my Tuesday nights away from me, I will fight you.
Austin, don't you think that today is such a big news day that Buck needs to do prime time tonight with Ross producing it?
Anyway, I put it out to a poll on Twitter, and I got back a surprising amount of Daniel Jones. But that's not the right answer. Now, maybe it ends up being the right answer if they give Daniel Jones a fat contract. But, Robert, what is the contract situation for Daniel Jones? If you don't have the answer to that, I do.
He's a free agent after this year.
He's on a 1-year, $14.5 million deal. That's not a long-term solution. Daniel Jones is 28, going to be 29. Is this 1-year wonder type of Daniel Jones, or are you going to let him go after this year? If the Colts win the Super Bowl with Daniel Jones on a 1-year deal, I would almost not blame them at all if they just said, yeah, we're good. We'll try and figure it out with somebody else. We got the best possible version out of you. We'll move on. Now, I think that there would probably be some pushback on that, but like Daniel Jones on a 1-year contract is not the best situation. It's a complicated question.
And if you'll remember, the last time Daniel Jones had a great year, he was rewarded with a contract, and the Giants had buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
They kept Daniel Jones instead of keeping Saquon Barkley. So, I mean, I could see if the Colts were huge historians, I could see them being like, well, or superstitious historians, that is.
So then, what's the second best situation? Because in my mind, or what's the best situation? In my mind, it's almost the Titans. Because I don't know whether Cam Ward is good or bad yet. C.J. Stroud is flailing mightily. Like, is there a more underachieving? The Ravens are probably the answer to this, and I don't say that to take a shot at you. I just talking generally in terms of NFL expectations preseason.
Sure.
Prior to the season beginning. Like, the Ravens were a popular Super Bowl pick this year. Obviously, that has not gone in their favor. Lamar Jackson getting injured hasn't helped things.
Sure, but with the Texans, at least, I mean, there were aspirations for the playoffs for them as well, but I think part of the reason that they're suffering is they weren't able to replace Laramie Tunsil or really upgrade this offensive line. How long has the offensive line been bad in Houston?
Ooh,
I want to say forever.
For a long time.
Like, it has never been a complete unit.
They've
like,
kind of got a situation like here where they've been chasing. And, I mean, the one thing they got right was signing Laramie Tunsil.
I mean, and look at
did they trade for Laramie Tunsil from the Dolphins?
They did, yeah. It was a huge haul, too, to add him. But if you look at how many picks they invested in the offensive line, Titus Howard, who's the guard from Mississippi State?
Didn't they cut one from A&M, right? It was a first-round pick.
So they've had their fair share of issues, and I think that is contributing mightily to C.J. Stroud's issues. They have no run game whatsoever. They get no push up front. So he is struggling, but I could also still see the promise that if we can fix the things around him, no Joe Mixon, they've got the shadow of himself in Nick Chubb. If we can fix the things around C.J. Stroud, I could see that also being the best quarterback situation.
It would be tough to argue that it's not, but he's doing things that indicate that he is fraying in ways that Daniel Jones was fraying in New York. His accuracy, I mean, against the Titans, which they shut them out. The inaccuracies that C.J. Stroud has when there's not really a ton of pressure on him, and there are a few moments when there's not really a ton of pressure on him, but who's the tight end for the Texans? Dalton Schultz just sails a pass over Dalton Schultz's head. That's an easy touchdown. That's a 26-0 blowout that the Texans won, and he's still not playing well. 2 years, we're not even through 2 years. Well, he's played 2 years. This is C.J. Stroud's third, correct? C.J. Stroud is a third-year player.
Yes.
I don't know that I'm not seeing signs of Daniel Jones-esque Giants play from C.J. Stroud right now. I'm concerned if I'm a Texans fan. It doesn't mean that you can't fix him, like it's not too far gone. But what's to say that you're in a situation, if you're the Houston Texans, looking around where he hasn't quite done it yet? There's enough promise on the front end, but it's been a couple of bad years on the back end, and you're sitting in there in a contract situation with him because he's extension eligible next year, correct?
That's right.
That's not a layup. I mean, look at Trevor Lawrence. What am I to do with Trevor Lawrence? Now, their problems go deeper. If the Jags aren't turning their opponents over at a freakishly high rate, the Jaguars have not been playing good football. And it's not just that they got their asses kicked in London, because Matt Stafford all of a sudden turns into the greatest red zone quarterback you've ever seen after their red zone targets have suffered without Puka Nacua on the field in London, which is a part of the conversation there, too. If the Jags defense isn't getting turnovers by the dozen, the Jags aren't a good football team. They're 4-3.
Now, if we were taking coaching staff into consideration, right now, looking forward, the outlook for all of these quarterbacks.
I like Liam Cohen the best.
I agree with that. I
like Shane Steichen a lot, too. He was my coach of the year pick last year.
If it wasn't Daniel Jones in this position and you wouldn't have to say, okay, we're going to give him the Sam Darnold contract or whatever comes after this extension, I would say I would agree with you that they would overwhelmingly be the best position quarterback grooming-wise in the AFC South.
I wonder if it's still not the Colts. Because Steichen got 8 wins out of Gardner Minshew or rather Anthony Richardson and Joe Flacco.
And there's a strong run game, strong offensive line play supporting him. They have a cast of characters that not a lot of household names. Like everyone knows Michael Pittman, but no one's really coming out there clamoring that Alec and Josh Downs are these elite wide receivers, but he's making it work. Now, Tyler Warren will probably prove to be, if not this year, in the future, an elite option at tight end. But that's the Holy Trinity, right? That's how Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. Good offensive line play, good running back play, competent tight ends, and a more than competent defense. That's the formula to win with an average quarterback.
See, it's almost the wrong conversation that we're having, and I didn't realize it until real time, even though we've just talked about Drake May and Cam Ward. What's the best situation for a quarterback? It's Indianapolis. Because they could let Daniel Jones be the next Sam Darnold. Hey, we'll take you for a year. We'll get the most possible out of you. Sam Darnold won, 15 games last year with the Vikings and pooped themselves in the playoffs, and that's fine. Like, Daniel Jones, bad Daniel Jones is still in there somewhere. There's just nobody that's really pushing him right now. So let's say the Colts do what Sam Darnold couldn't do last year and make a deep playoff run or end up in a Super Bowl on behalf of the AFC. They are the AFC's best team. They are the AFC's best offense right now. So let's say they hold up healthy enough and they get the most out of Daniel Jones and it's time to pay him. And they say, no, I'm good. We'll figure this out somewhere else. Now, there's risk reward to that because it hasn't gone in the Vikings' favor this year. Sam Darnold looks great in Seattle. Had a hell of a game last night. It's a very risky proposition, but would you rather have Daniel Jones on a crippling contract or a better roster to support a quarterback? If I'm the Colts, I let him walk at the end of the year and trust my setup, my surroundings to support the quarterback the best. Who has the worst situation for a quarterback? Because I'd argue it's here. There's uncertainty about who's going to be the next head coach. There's an offensive line that money and draft picks have been spent on, but J.C. Latham's not playing good football. Kevin Zeitler's not playing good football. All of a sudden, we're having conversation about Lloyd Cushenberry's ass sweat.
It's expensive.
The ass sweat?
Correct.
Bottle it and sell it. What a weird thing for me to say.
It's ridiculous.
So it's the Titans are the worst situation for a quarterback right now as we sit here today. Obviously, that can change. Texans are second worst. Jacksonville at least has Liam Cohen, who's got a proven track record of success, but he's got a $55 million anchor around his neck and Trevor Lawrence right now.
And ETN has had a resurgence. Like, whatever happened this offseason to DeAndre Swift and Travis Etienne, they need to bottle that up and I would drink it. I would be a stallion. I would look like a chiseled Greek god because both of them were thought to be dead, so much so that we're talking about seventh-round rookies in Chicago stealing snaps away, and Kyle Monangai, who has actually played really well, had a touchdown this weekend, but both of those running backs are not part of the problem for their prospective quarterback.
Yeah, and the whole reason that I changed my position on this conversation is Morris Tidwell on Facebook. A funny name, Morris Tidwell.
I love that. He sounds very smart.
He sounds like an 80-year-old man.
Very, very eloquent.
Are we making Morrises still in 2025?
What's the difference between a Morris and a Maurice?
You could call them Mo.
Are they spelled the same? What's
Morris
that cat,
and Maurice?
What's that cat's name again?
What cat?
Like cat. Talk to you about cats and you think it's one in your yard. The dude on Facebook that you just talked
Morris
about.
Tidwell.
He sounds like he owns a very high-end barber shop. Come on down to Tidwell's Clips.
Sounds like he wears a monocle.
Yeah, and a top hat.
Anyway, his comment was, Buck, would you take Daniel Jones or Mac Jones? It's got nothing to do with I don't want to say it's got nothing to do with them, the individual players. It's got more to do with the situation. Would I take the Niners or the Colts? I'd probably take the Niners. But it's kind of a push right now because both are well equipped to support a quarterback. This goes back to the conversation, Robert, we were having earlier. 80% of quarterbacks in the NFL right now are just about the same player. Like 80% of starting quarterbacks are just about the same player. There are some differences. There are some variances. There is higher athletics upside. There is, better pocket play than others. Like there are some unique elements to each individual player. But for the most part, on aggregate, if you plugged Mac Jones into San Francisco versus Bill Belichick's New England Patriots, Mac Jones is going to succeed there because you've got better support around him. And he's good enough. Daniel Jones is good enough to be 6-1 because he's got the right support system. It's not about the player. It's less about the player than it is about the circumstance around him. It's the entire conversation around this year's Super Bowl champion, which is Mahomes is the best player on the planet, and he got his ass kicked because he played on an appreciably worse team. 615-737-1045 is the number. Jason Fitz will lend his voice to this conversation coming up next. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Jason Fitz is the best. Even though he's not very nice to me, I enjoy his visits with us. Yahoo Sports Daily. Fox Sports Radio is where he carries me for 2 hours nationally. Every Saturday from 5 to 7 p.m. Central Time. Buddy, how are we?
I'm spectacular. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a beacon of light to you. I'm a kind teddy bear awaiting snuggling opportunities every time we get to hang out. I am a beacon of kindness with you.
So there is news-ish. So what am I to do with Trey Wingo citing sources saying, and I know you know Trey Wingo, obviously, from working together at ESPN for so long. What am I to do with Trey Wingo saying that the Cowboys have inquired about Max Crosby, your beloved pass rusher, the one good thing on the Raiders right now?
Well, you are to print that tweet out, and then you are to crumble that tweet out, and you are to use it as toilet paper. Look, at some point, I love the way. Look at what Trey reported. The Cowboys are making calls. Everybody's making calls on Max, but I guess do the math on this. And the reason it doesn't make any sense to me is that the package the Raiders would want in return for Max Crosby would not be that dissimilar to the package that the Cowboys just got for Mike Parsons. Now, Max is a few years older and has a couple of lingering little injury things that Mike doesn't have to deal with. Why in God's green earth would the Cowboys essentially flip Mike Parsons for Max Crosby? It just doesn't make a ton of sense to me across the board. Look, I think it's a win for the player. If Max can get the hell out of Vegas, congratulations to him. He can win football games and he'd be a difference maker for the Cowboys. And I do believe the Cowboys are making calls. I just don't understand why the Cowboys, like where the math would map on what it would take to get Max Crosby over there.
At Jason Fitz is where you can follow him. Yahoo Sports Daily is where you can watch he and Caroline Fenton on a regular basis. They do great interviews. They have great discussions. So we were just talking about who has the best quarterback situation in the AFC South, Fitzy. Obviously, the Colts are a wagon right now, the definition of it at this point in time. They're the best offense in football. They have the best record in football. They're the only one-loss team left on the board. Ironically, the Titans travel to Indianapolis. I'm sure that'll go well and in their favor. But Daniel Jones on a one-year deal, what is to keep Indianapolis? And I mean just generally, like the state of these teams and the quarterback situations that they have, not just currently, but long-term. Who has the best situation in the AFC South?
I think it's the Colts because they're going to lock up Daniel Jones long term. Look, and this comes back to something I was saying over the summer. The reason that as much as I continue to take my victory lap like the child I am, the reason that I thought that the Colts would win the division and the reason that I predicted that Daniel Jones would become back player of the year was frankly because look at what Shane Steichen had success with in Philly. He had success with Jalen Hurts, right? Like he likes a particular type of mobile quarterback that can get some things done, that can move around a little bit, but also isn't afraid to use his tight ends, is very selective on when to push the football. A smart guy. Like that's sort of what Shane Steichen likes. Now, he played 500 football the last 2 years with the Colts with Gardner Minshew and Joe Flacco at the quarterback position. So to me, even though you got basically the Wish version or like the Temu version of Josh Allen with Daniel Jones, you do have those things that I think Steichen can turn around and make the most of. So Daniel Jones is in a situation where he's speaking the same language as his coach. They're going to find a win-win situation on a long-term deal. I think Daniel Jones is going to be the quarterback there for a long time. And by the way, Buck, look at the schedule that's coming at you. Yes, they've got a couple of games left that are close, and I think the Chiefs today are a better football team. But right now, if you're asking me who's going to end up the number one seed, who's going to get the bye, and who's going to have home field advantage in the playoffs, I think it's the Indianapolis Colts. I think the Colts are about to just run through the schedule. They got a couple of tough games left for the course of the year. They strike me as a team that by the end of the year will have 13 wins, and they'll be sitting on a first-round bye. And you'll have to go through Indy to get to the Super Bowl. I still think the Chiefs are a better team. But to answer your question long-term, I feel like Daniel Jones is about to be the quarterback there for a very long time. And just like we've had to change our conversation around Baker no longer the guy that got cut and traded. No, Baker is now the franchise of the Buccaneers. I think Daniel Jones is going to be to the Indianapolis Colts what Baker Mayfield has been to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So you wouldn't Sam Darnold the situation and let him walk for the opportunity? Because what we're talking about here really is the situation, right? I think the Titans are the worst situation in the division, not just because they don't have a coach, but because their organization is not to be trusted because yes, the reporting on this is that Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi, the president of football ops and the GM here, are going to run the coaching search exclusively for the next coach who coaches Cam Ward. But as Fitzy, you brought up, the idea that maybe we talked about this on the national show this weekend, the idea that if there are coaches with options out here looking at this job as a Titans, if I was a Titans fan, I would not want somebody who just wants this job because it's one of 32. I would want somebody who can identify things here that are indicative or could eventually have success with the proper people in charge of them and with the proper level of control over them, and saying, I have identified something here that will work, and I am here to take control of the situation if the ownership group is actually going to do the thing that they never do, which is give them control over the football situation and not get involved or get emotional about the decision-making here. This is not a job where fans should look at it and say, it's attractive because it's one of 32. Yeah, but how is it 32 out of 32 in this circumstance? And is Cam Ward at this point, I understand it's 7 games, is Cam Ward good enough that you would be willing to hear a coach out if you were the organization on, I want, let's say, a hypothetical world, Mike McCarthy or whatever proven veteran coach you might hire in this situation or you might interview in this situation comes in and says, yeah, I'll take your job here because I think there are things that can work for me, but I want an open quarterback competition because this isn't my guy. I feel like Titans fans would revolt in that situation, and I think it's a completely fair conversation to have.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, what you need is a grown-up. What this organization needs is a grown-up in the room that can bring an all-new culture from the ground up to it. And it's not going to come from Amy Adams Strunk, right? Like, frankly, if I owned the Titans today, I would fire literally everybody in that building. There is not a person I wouldn't fire. And as I go through the process of hiring, the first thing I do is put everybody on the same timeline. So my GM and coach are coming in together with the same number of years on the contract, much like we forget that when Kyle Shanahan got the job in San Francisco with John Lynch, a first-time GM, they both at the time signed unprecedented 6-year deals because San Francisco had gone through just a couple of years of bouncing around with coaches and GMs. So they wanted some semblance of you are going to wait through this process. 49ers were bad the first couple of years, then it turned around, right? They understood the turning around process. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm deciding who's going to lead my franchise for the next decade. And if that's a coach or a GM, I don't care. But I want everybody on the same page. So I fire everybody, I bring in a coach and a GM. But the one thing I absolutely would not do under any circumstance is hamstring them to only looking at candidates that believe in Cam Ward. Because frankly, no matter what any person listening thinks of Cam Ward, you need to hire the best candidate to fix the organization. And if that candidate comes in and says, hey, by the way, y'all, like, I love this job. Here's my plan. And you fall in love with the plan. And here's the offense we're going to run. Here are the guys we're going to bring in to run it. Here's my staff. Here's how I'm going to build it. Here's the structure of how we're going to practice. These are all things that come into the interview process, right? If that person nails every ounce of the interview process and you fall in love with them and the last thing he says is, by the way, I don't want Cam Ward as my quarterback. Okay, then you're shopping Cam Ward. You've got to fix the organization because Cam Ward can't do that. Cam Ward can't fix an organization. Cam Ward can only do his best as a quarterback to fix the chaos that is around him. So if that means, especially for a team that is likely to have a top 3 pick in next year's draft, if your eventual head coach comes in and says, hey, I love this job, but for the opportunity that I have and for the way that I want to run this offense, I believe Ty Simpson is a better quarterback for the next 10 years than Cam Ward. And you go with that guy. Like, you have to bring in a person that is ultimately going to be responsible for the entirety of how the organization runs for the next decade. And that person can't be Cam Ward, so Cam Ward can't be part of the decision-making process.
Which is counterintuitive, I think, to a lot of fans. And there's some people on YouTube pointing out about saying they're going to build around Cam Ward, this, that, and the other. That's exactly what they did around Will Levis. Amy Adams Strunk mentioned the promising young quarterback when she fired Mike Vrabel. And again, we don't need to relitigate all the things that went wrong en route to those decisions and the Brian Callahan hire, but they essentially hired somebody that was willing to come in here and do the thing that is hardest to do, which is fix Will Levis. So they've already made that mistake once, and it blew up in their face. So for fans who do think it's counterintuitive, I would just devil's advocate that argument and say, you've already done that once, and it was arguably as bad a decision as any of you've made in a series of horrendous decisions, Fitz.
Think about a year ago when the hottest name for everybody was Ben Johnson. Now, I don't know if Ben Johnson's going to turn out to be the next Andy Reid. I don't know. But the hottest name was Ben Johnson. If you have a shot at the guy that everybody covets, that has the opportunity to bring your organization together, and he walks into the interview and he says, I love this job. I want to be here. My wife loves Nashville. My family wants to live here. We want to open this stadium. We want to do all of these things. But I don't believe in Cam Ward. If you've got next year's Ben Johnson, if you have Ben Johnson sitting there saying, I want this job, but I don't want that guy, would you ever look at it and say, well, sorry, we love you. We think you should lead the franchise. But if you won't take this quarterback, then what are you doing? Eventually what you're doing is you're making a lesser hire at the coach. That lesser hire at the coach you're hoping can get the most out of Cam Ward. If he doesn't get the most out of Cam Ward, in 3 years, Cam Ward is a non-factor and you're hiring another coach. At some point, you can't limit the pool of candidates. You can't go into the coaching search and the search for normalcy and competency in the organization. You can't go into that and say, okay, the first thing we're going to do is filter anything. You're the Titans. You don't get to filter anything. You need to bring in somebody that can fix the organization. You don't get to eliminate a third of the candidates out of the gates that may not like Cam Ward. If the dream coach turns around and says, I love this job, but I want Fernando Mendoza, then you're going to go get Fernando Mendoza and Cam Ward be damned. Trade him somewhere else. Let him go try and figure it out somewhere else. What do you want to do? Do you want to sit there and worry about the pot committed that you've already got to the first overall pick of last year's draft if it costs you the opportunity for the right person to run your franchise? Or do you just want to admit that the person coming in to run this team in a couple of months has no allegiance and no need to be allegiant to that first overall pick? They could just go out and be their own person. Let them run the organization without any constraints if you want them to actually fix what is just a mess.
Some people are pointing out that Ben Johnson kept Caleb Williams. I would point out to those people, Ben Johnson declined the interview with the Titans when the job was open.
Ben Johnson specifically, according to people I know behind the scenes with the Raiders, because the Raiders thought that they were going to have a real shot at Ben Johnson. They could not agree on the quarterback situation. Yeah. That is a real thing. Tom Brady was the one that came in and said, we want Geno. So let me ask you right now, what would you rather have? If you're a Raiders fan, and I am one, would I rather have Ben Johnson with his pick of the litter at the quarterback position, or would I rather have Pete Carroll and a 2-win Raiders team that is floundering with Geno Smith as my quarterback? The fact is, the opposite, everybody's saying, well, he wanted Caleb. Yeah, absolutely. But if any organization had the shot at Ben Johnson and he came in and said, only if I have say in the quarterback, and you say, not going to do that, then shame on you. Then you lost out on the guy that could have fixed it.
This was a very fun visit. I appreciate your time, Fitzy.
I appreciate you, brother. You know what? Your mustache and beard looks very good today.
Thank you. It's true. I've many times I've said this. It's just nice to have some agreement. Jason Fitz, Yahoo Sports Daily. You can catch him daily in the mornings from 9 to 11 a.m. Central. Is that correct? 9 to 11 a.m.?
9 to 11 a.m. Eastern.
Eastern.
Thanks for knowing the show. 8 to 10 Central, 9 to 11 Eastern. That's
my mistake. Robert is shaking his head in embarrassment at me. I know what time I'm on with you on Saturdays because sometimes I show up to work 5 to 7 p.m. Central Time on Fox Sports Radio. I'll see you this weekend, buddy.
Tell Robert I love him. Bye.
I love you too. Oh, I love you too.
Get out of here. Enough of this.
God, I love
that is the thing. That's like the uncomfortable conversation that's looming around this coaching search, right? Is if you start missing out on candidates that you know are quality. Like Adam Peters turned down this job because he looked at this job and said, yeah, I don't think that this is a situation that I want to walk into given what I know about the organization and what might be out there in future opportunities. And he took the Washington Commanders job, and they are a highly successful franchise because of a couple of different reasons, but Adam Peters got the opportunity to draft a quarterback second overall. Ben Johnson turned down this job because of a variety of different factors, because he thought he would have a greater opportunity elsewhere. He thought he would have more control over the situation elsewhere. Ben Johnson, and I know the Bears aren't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but they are winners of 4 in a row, and they look like a franchise that is on an upward trajectory. If Amy Adams-Strunk, if people in the Titans organization, if Mike Borgonzi even is too married to the idea of Cam Ward as the future, and it costs you opportunities at quality coaching candidates, it absolutely has to be something on the table. Whether they're willing to have those conversations is going to be telling about how open-minded they are to this search. Everything should be on the table when you are this god-awful. Everything should be on the table when you are as wretched as they have been for the past couple of years.
Can you make that noise again?
Which noise?
The, I don't want to be here kind of thing. You were talking about Ben Johnson taking a job, and you were like, it sounded like the whole reason I want you to do it. Sounded like the Road Warriors, their entrance music, probably one of the most badass entrance songs of the 80s and 90s for professional wrestlers. Ooh, what a rush. That's what I got from it.
I don't know about that.
Yours would be, why do I have to do this?
When are they going to fix this damn thing? Last call for phone calls if you got them. 615-737-1045. I'm Buck Rising. It's 1045 The Zone.
I'm literally picking Hattie B's hot chicken out of my teeth as I do this. Hey, it's Lucas. You know I would never lead you astray when it comes to food. So believe me when I say Hattie B's is the best hot chicken in the world. And if you're watching on Zone TV, you can see this bucket of hot chicken. Even Buck is eating wings in front of people. That is how irresistible Hattie B's hot chicken is. For us, it was the bucket of wings, jumbo wings. Medium is what we went with a quart of baked beans and a quart of pimento cheese. Ordered it on the Hattie B's app, where I'm starting to build up rewards. You can too. You get a free dessert literally by just downloading the app. We don't order Hattie B's to the station for our lunch as a show because they're a wonderful sponsor partner and we enjoy spending time with them. Those things are all true, but we order it for lunch because it's the best hot chicken in the world. It's like your grandma made it. HattieB.com. Let them fuel your tailgate or watch party this coming weekend. And you can get your Hattie B's hot chicken at Nissan Stadium when you're watching Titans and Patriots this Sunday. I'm going to go back to my Hattie B's.
Last call for phone calls, if you got them. 615-737-1045. Robert Walsh is fielding your phone calls as we speak. I figured Fitzy might get a bit of a reaction out of some of you with that conversation, but I don't know how it's arguable when things are as bad as they are that everything should be on the table. Now, the idea of firing everybody associated with that organization top to bottom, if he was Amy Adams Strunk, the pushback on that would be, I think Mike Borgonzi is going to be a plus here, or at least a plus as far as the hiring process goes. The Cam Ward conversation I'm far more open to, but I'm not saying that I'm outright done with him either. I just don't think there's any conversation not worth having when you are as perpetually awful as the Titans have been. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in. Let's go to Darrington.
Hey, boy, that Cam Ward, boy, you know what I'm saying? You know, everybody can tell me he got these Patrick Mahomes trade, and that man got Geno Smith free.
Oh, my God, Darrington, your phone line is awful. Where are you calling from?
Hold on, bug. Is this better for you, bug?
Oh, for God's sakes, thank you.
I think it might have been the AC because, you know, when the phone's plugged up to the car, you get the AC and, yeah, anyhow. But, yeah. Cam kind of look like Geno Smith. But anyway, so I like to go outside of just our network and go listen to other people and what they be talking about. I have it on a very good note that the Detroit Lions are interested in a L'Jarius Sneed and or a Roger McCreary, and the Buffalo Bills are interested in Calvin Ridley. What would it take for the Tennessee Titans to give them to them without it costing us anymore? I'll go back and listen now.
Okay, you can turn your AC back on now. Thank you for the call. I mean, what would it take? I don't know. What would you get? So let's look at Calvin's contract quickly because he's obviously 2 years in.
I think if you acquire his services, you're due for whatever's left after the weeks after he is acquired, and then next year he could be cut with, I believe it's $13 million in dead money, which would save you 13 because his cap hit's 26.
Calvin Ridley's cap hit right now is $28 million. Now, obviously, if he was acquired at the trade deadline is post week 9.
I don't have the exact
November
date
4th,
on that.
so it is post week 9. November 2nd, the Titans play the Chargers. That's week 9. November 10th is the bye. The following week, week 10, is the Titans bye. So it would be week 10 on that you would be responsible for Calvin Ridley's contract. I don't know. I'd take a fourth for Calvin Ridley.
That's what I'm saying. Like if it's a team that's willing to push all their chips to the center of the table, like the Steelers, I think he would be a great compliment to DK, or the Buffalo Bills. I think he would be a nice compliment because right now the Bills have like a whole bunch of Indians and not a whole lot of, and not a chief, not somebody that you can count on. Like Keon Coleman's an okay young receiver.
He's inconsistent.
But he's inconsistent. Khalil Shakir's a good receiver, probably the best at getting open, the quickest guy they have, but a smaller body type. So he's going to get pushed around he's small enough that if he gets pressed, he's going to knock the angle of the route off. So like everyone there has the things they're good at, and they also have the things that they're not so good at.
Yeah, and like Calvin Ridley would he be the best option on the Bills at that point in time?
I think whatever option Josh Allen wants to throw to is the best option, no matter who you add to that team. Unless it's like an A.J. Brown, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, somebody like that.
So, let's see. About $14.4 million of Calvin Ridley's salary would be on your books already, or off of whomever would acquire his book. So half the contract, essentially, with a cap hit of $28 million. Calvin Ridley, that probably brings it down to a fourth. Could you get a fifth for Calvin Ridley?
I think because the teams that would be trading for him would be very good teams, meaning their picks would be at the ass end of the round.
You could get a late fourth?
That you could get a fourth. You could get a fourth from the Buffalo Bills or the Steelers or who have you for Calvin Ridley, if they were so
that
interested.
Feels like best case scenario. What did Hop go for? Let me look that up. I don't remember off the top of my head. His contract
was a fourth,
less.
Wasn't it? Or a fifth?
Maybe a conditional pick. Hang on. Hopkins.
It was a conditional pick. I think it was a fifth that could become a
he had
fourth.
to play X amount of snaps.
And they made sure that he was beneath that threshold, which is tough. Always tough with trades like that. Like, if he plays 80%, unless he's an offensive lineman, like, you're probably not getting that conditional pick.
Hop was a conditional fifth-round pick that stayed a fifth-round pick because the Chiefs managed his snap count appropriately. So, they didn't really need him that way, and the Chiefs still made it to the Super Bowl despite managing his snap count. But a conditional, and Hopkins was better than Ridley was. He's just more reliable than Ridley was. Not at the time that he was traded now.
But also more money on his books, right? Acquiring Hop was easy because he was very acquirable.
He was cheaper.
And that's the whole reason he didn't sign with the Chiefs initially, is because the Chiefs couldn't give him the contract that he wanted. So how does he make it cheaper for them? He signs with the Titans, plays 7 weeks, and then gets shipped off.
Slay is in the comments section saying he's trading the two of us for more Biscoff cookies because we're thieves.
No, Slay, we talked about this, man. There's talked about this.
There's no photographic or video evidence of Robert Walsh nor myself taking your cookies. There is a figure cloaked in darkness that Lucas took a picture of, faceless, nameless, cloaked in darkness, that Lucas took a picture of over his shoulder, alleging that it was me. I have video evidence of him reaching into the actual cookie jar, taking out a pack of Biscoff cookies, realizing that I have him on camera, and diving under the console. Justice has been served, by the way. He has food poisoning as he's been throwing up all morning.
Slay is alleging that he's putting cases on all of y'all's heads. And I will say, Lucas threw me under the bus yesterday because Slay went to press him in the side studio. And he was like, whoa, it wasn't just me. Look at this video from the live stream on YouTube. What is Robert putting in his mouth?
Oh.
And he had a video of me from the Burt Cam eating a Biscoff cookie. So he made sure if he knew he was done, he was going to bring somebody else with him. So Lucas threw me under the bus.
So I'm the only one who escapes the allegations.
No, you definitely did. I'll rat on you. We're all going down with the ship, dude.
You can rat on me all you want. There's no evidence.
That doesn't have to be evidence in street justice. Let you tell that to Slay.
Okay, here's your street justice. You want street justice? Lethal Latin on YouTube says, look at Robert's belly. That's the proof you need, Slay.
Oh, we ain't done. No, you still got to do polls. We ain't done.
No, I don't want you.
No. You're not. No, it's just you up. You ain't got to worry about seeing or hearing from my belly ever again. Lethal Latin.
I don't have to worry about seeing it ever again.
The person that's most excited about my belly is Lethal Latin's wife, because I'm gonna put it on her lower back later tonight. You can do the polls by yourself.
We don't have enough time to do the polls. If we did the polls would be presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. See ya.
Oh, keep talking. Let me play the music. I'll do it right.
What do you mean keep talking? It's the end of the show.
Say something nice. Say something nice about our guests, about our listeners, about my belly. Say something nice.
Your belly is not the most offensive belly of people that work at the radio station, and I don't have to do primetime tonight. See ya. The Tennessee Men's Clinic can help you with erectile dysfunction, and that's an awful situation. If you're going through that right now, it can wreck your confidence, it can impact your relationship, your mental health, and even your sense of identity. But the good news is The Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help. They've helped thousands of guys get back to feeling like themselves. These aren't cookie-cutter treatments. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is urology-based and staffed with multiple licensed providers who specialize in men's sexual health. They use proven treatments tailored to your specific situation. No one size fits all. Too many guys rely on pills that don't work or come with nasty side effects. There are better treatments, and sometimes it's a combination of those things that finally unlock the results that you've been missing. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes a full medical consultation, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose right there in the office. So call today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 or book easily online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.